number 1 in the league, undefeated, and left with the loss. So certainly the potential is here. The crowd is revved up. It's not freak-out night, but it's Clarkson. Let's go up top now for the introduction of the team. Again, Jim Brennan, Al Shibley, to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Ed. And good evening again, everyone, and welcome to the Houston Fieldhouse. The Golden Knights of Clarkson have taken the ice, and now we're awaiting the arrival of the Engineers, who, Alan, a very important game for them. They did get the 1 point last night against the first place St. Lawrence, and if they could get another one, preferably the 2, obviously, here tonight, it would perhaps be a good send-off to their 4-game road trip upcoming.
Oh, absolutely. They've got a tough stretch down the last couple of weeks of the season coming up. They're going to, as we had talked before the game, the Engineers still have to play Dartmouth, Yale, and Princeton, 3 teams that are chasing them for the last couple of playoff spots. So any point is going to be valuable down the stretch, but you're right. As far as a confidence builder for a basically young team, a win or a tie against one of the top teams in the league, it has to help.
Well, the Engineers played well last night, as they have on several occasions. They play well. Their problem has been they've been unable to sustain the effort for 60 minutes, and that's due in part to the youngness of the team. As mentioned downstairs, there are no juniors on this team, so there are 9 seniors, 7 of whom see considerable amount of time, but the rest is all freshmen and sophomores. So a lot of the mistakes they've been made over the course of the season, you would expect. I mean, they're growing pains.
You're right, and some of the mistakes made by the upperclassmen probably have been made trying to cover up or anticipated letdowns by the younger guys. We've seen, for instance, last night, senior captain Patrick Rochon, the best defenseman the Engineers have, sat out because he had his second major penalty in 3 weeks last week at Brown. He's back in the lineup tonight, and I think that the message that Dan Pridgeon, head coach, wanted to send to Patrick Rochon is, you're our leader. You've got to keep things under control when you're on the ice. If you lose control, the younger guys are going to lose control. So that's going to be a key tonight, the return of Patrick Rochon and how he handles his benching.
And of course, this the Engineers' final home game before they go on a 4-game road trip. For the next 2 weekends, they'll be away before coming back here for the final weekend of the season against Princeton and Yale. And of course, the Big Red Freakout will be the final home game, final regular season game of the season, which has been a bit of a departure. Normally, it's been around this time of the year.
That's right. Usually, it's a couple of weeks before the final weekend of the season to try and help build the momentum down the stretch into the playoffs. But that last weekend, there'll be plenty of incentive without the Big Red Freakout because both Yale and Princeton are in a hunt for playoff spots. The Engineers will be trying to scrap into at least 6th place to avoid that Tuesday night first round playoff game where the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place teams have to play their way in to the quarterfinals of the ECAC tournament.
We're going to have a very brief ceremony here before the opening face-off, and we're awaiting that now as the starting lineups are being introduced. The Clarkson starters are gathered along the blue line. Dan Murphy will be their sophomore goaltender. He started every game in his collegiate career. This is game number 63 for the Clarkson goaltender. Mike Tamburo being introduced in the Rensselaer goal. Of course, we mentioned briefly downstairs what a great job he did at the end of last season to carry RPI to the ECAC tournament title. And he's played well again this year. He's had a lot of breakdowns in front of him, though, that have cost him some goals and subsequently some wins. Pat Brownlee will be at one defense spot along with the captain, Patrick Rochon, on the starting lineup tonight. Doug Battaglia on the left wing being introduced now. Coach Pridgeon is taking up the lines here last night, and tonight he appears to be going with the same ones he did last night. Brian Richardson, the senior center iceman, leading scorer on this Engineer team. He'll be between Battaglia and Tim Regan tonight on the right wing.
Brian Richardson is a legitimate All-American candidate, and he's actually probably going to be a top 10 finalist for the Hobie Baker Award if he continues to play the way he has. Hobie Baker Award, of course, is the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy in college football, given to the best college hockey player in the country each and every year, as voted by members of the media and pro scouts.
We're going to join PA announcer Don Berkmeyer now. On the ice is RPI president R. Byron Pipe.
1996 Legends of Rensselaer Award.
This award going to John Regas, class of 1950 at Rensselaer. president and chairman of Adelphia Communications Corporated of Pennsylvania, the 9th largest cable enterprise in the U.S., the largest individual owner of the Buffalo Sabres NHL franchise, and a 1950 graduate of RPI, really a pioneer in the cable TV industry and heavily involved in community fairs and getting the hockey stick from Captain Patrick Rochon. And that's the assistant captain, Tim Regan. Now, just a couple of moments away from the opening face-off. First, of course, the national anthem will be played tonight by the Engineer Band. Not providing the accompaniment, obviously none needed.
No, stirring rendition of both anthems. Well done indeed. Jim, Clarkson's facing a little bit similar situation the Engineers faced last night. Clarkson down a couple of their better players. We mentioned that Scott Reekie, one of their best defensive defensemen and one of their biggest players at 6'2", 206 pounds, is out. He's got strep throat. He missed last night's game at Union, a 5-4 Clarkson win. He will miss tonight. And Dana Mulvihill, a fourth-line right winger with 6 goals and 10 assists, has a hip pointer, and he will sit out. He skated in warm-ups. They decided he couldn't go. He'll be replaced in the lineup by Jordan Grant, who has no goals, no points in 9 games. We'll see how much ice time he logs tonight. He may not do much other than just kind of operate the gate.
You're looking at the Engineers gathered around their goaltender, Mike Tamburo. In this first period, RPI will be skating from right to left as you watch them toward the stage end of the Houston Fieldhouse. Clarkson moving left to right. They'll be starting on the front line. Their center iceman and All-American candidate Todd White, a player, in fact, recruited by Rensselaer a couple of years ago, and one that got away. Certainly, he's a good one. He'll have Guillaume Best on the left wing and Chris Clark on the right. The defenseman will be Olila, who's a freshman out of Finland, and another good player, and Josh Bartell playing left defense. So it's White between Clark and Best. For Clarkson, and RPI sends out Richardson, Battaglia, and Regan across the front line with Roshan and Brownlee on defense in front of Mike Tamburo as we're just about set to go. The opening face-off still loose at center ice. Richardson goes down and sweeps it in to the Clarkson goal to the left of Dan Murphy. Battaglia in the corner as Regan goes down. Top of the circle, he takes a bump. Richardson is dumped, and the puck finally swept to center where RPI controls. Roshan flips it back in. Dan Murphy makes the catching glove save and holds on with Tim Regan right at the doorstep. And Regan goes down, and we got a penalty right away.
And that is just a bad play by the Clarkson player. I think it's Josh Bartell as he just went in and gently pushed Timmy Regan.
Well, Regan stopped right at the top of the crease. He made no effort to bump the goaltender, and Tim Regan did everything he was supposed to do there in staying off goaltender Dan Murphy. And right away, Bartell goes out just 23 seconds into the opening period. When these two teams met back in early December up in Potsdam, Clarkson won it by the score of 7-1. RPI was 1 for 11 on the power play. So clearly that one area of the game they'd like to turn around here tonight, and they'll get an opportunity here in the opening 23 seconds. On the power play unit, Richardson centering Healy on the right, Regan on the left. Jeff O'Connor goes back to play the left point with Brownlee. At the right point, this is Brownlee at center ice. Takes a bump, and Clarkson dumps it down.
Jim, an unsportsmanlike conduct call against Josh Bartell, and I think Timmy Regan aided it a little bit by losing his feet.
Here's Brian Richardson through center, being checked by Jean-Francois Houle. Richardson circles behind the net. Left point by O'Connor and all the way down. Clarkson penalty killers, Murphy and Houle going off, and they get a fresh penalty kill unit on the ice as RPI comes through center. O'Connor cross ice to Healy on the right board. Puck bumped down behind the net. And now loose in the slot, finally knocked out of the zone by Gates. And all the way down, RPI has to go back to get it. Tamburo stops behind his own net.
The Engineers have had trouble with their power play off and on this year, and when they've had trouble, it's because they haven't been aggressive getting into the zone with the puck.
Second unit on now, centered by St. Hilaire. He's number 10 in white. Here's Roshan. Cross ice. Perron, his drive. Pad save by Murphy. Rebound, Roshan. Stopped in front. We get a whistle. And they're going to pull the faceoff outside.
They're going to call Matt Garver, the freshman right winger for the Engineers, for being in the crease.
Dan Murphy kicked out the right pad and made a good stop on the original shot. And as Roshan followed up the rebound, loose in the slot, Garver whistled for in the crease. Face-off coming just outside the Clarkson zone.
A good work in the corner by the Engineers. St. Hilaire and Garver both went into the corner to get the puck. It popped out, and the Engineers had a clear shot.
You're looking at the Clarkson goaltender, Dan Murphy. Here's the replay of it. This is Roshan on the rebound of his original shot.
And just too many people in front for the puck to find its way to the net.
Alain St. Hilaire, the freshman, number 10, centering Battaglia on the left and Garver on the right. Perron and Roshan on defense for RPI.
St. Hilaire winning about 65% of his faceoffs this year as a freshman, Jim. That's an outstanding total.
Grant Wallace up front on the Clarkson penalty kill unit. Puck loose along the boards and knocked out the center. John Perron chases down for RPI. Josh Grant in forechecking. And here come the Engineers out of the zone. Left wing pass too far in front of Roshan. It bounces free at center. Picked up by Garver. His drive sticked aside by Murphy into the corner. LeCavalier fans on his clearing out pass. Battaglia intercepts, brings it down low. He's bumped off the play. It's loose in front. Battaglia tries to tee it up. Can't. Left point Roshan. Right point Perron. Here's Garver. In behind the net. Roshan winds, fires, blocked away by Grant into the right side board. Now RPI cannot hold it into the line. It's knocked back in. Delayed offside call. Finally, there we get the whistle. And a little pushing and shoving.
I think we'll get a penalty to each team. It looks like John Perron and the Engineers will go to the box. We'll get matching high sticking calls, I believe.
The penalty to Bartell has expired. So Clarkson successfully killing off their first shorthanded situation. 17:32 to go, opening period. No score. The play, by virtue of the power play, in the Clarkson zone here for the opening 2.5 minutes.
And the Engineers, pretty good job on that power play, Jim. Got 3 or 4 good shots on goal. Murphy had to be sharp on a couple of them, and they, as you said, kept the puck down in the Clarkson zone most of the time and did create some good scoring opportunities.
Here come the Golden Knights now, loose at center. Brownlee sweeps it back the other way. Mikko Ollila, the freshman, out of Finland, back to play it for Clarkson. And Ollila will skate it up through center. Now here's White. White to the RPI line, down the right wing, and play in, whistled offside. As the Clarkson player in ahead of White on the left wing. And the faceoff will come just outside the zone.
Todd White, the junior from Canada, Ontario, his next point will be his 100th career point for the Golden Knights. Leads them with 19 goals on the season and a plus 20 plus minus tally. That's you get a point for being on the ice when you score, and they take a point away if you're on the ice when the other team scores. But he's plus 20, so that's a significant total.
RPI in their own zone, knocked out, now back in, and Brownlee chases behind the RPI net. Murray and Riva on the front line for the Engineers, skating 4 aside for another minute 17. This is Riva at center. Ahead to O'Connor, misses him. And Matt Pagnuti goes back to play it for the Golden Knights of Clarkson. He's on the back line with LeCavalier. That pass too far ahead of LeCavalier. He finally catches up and flips it in. Here comes Rochon with a full head of steam as he gets out of the zone, through center, to the Clarkson line. Loses the puck temporarily and now has it swept out of the zone all the way back. 45 seconds to go in the matching minors. Team skating 4 aside. Chris Aldos takes a hit from Lopata. Richardson in to play the puck. Now sweeps to Rochon. He headmans to Richardson off his stick into center where Ollila plays it back the other way. Intercepted by Rochon to the line. Drops for Richardson. Winds, fires, sticked aside by Murphy up over the glass and into the crowd.
And the Engineers generated just 25 shots last night on St. Lawrence goaltender Clint Owen, and I think Dan Frigian is going to try to up the total tonight. They're holding the puck quite a lot, and as you mentioned, that's something that you'll see from a young team, not really ready to shoot when they get a good scoring opportunity. As they get their feet under them and get a little more experience, they'll realize when it's time to shoot the puck.
Yeah, the underclassmen tend to play a little tentative. Sometimes it's, you're looking to make the play, and of course, overpassing can be as deadly as underpassing, and it's the fine line you have to walk, and that comes with experience. St. Hilaire on the draw with DeRuiter, and Clarkson controls. LeCavalier sets up. Now is turned back by St. Hilaire. Windsor and LeCavalier on the back line having trouble getting out of their zone here. Good RPI forechecking. St. Hilaire intercepts, turns, fires a weak shot that was wide of the net. Made the good intercept, but couldn't get good wood on the shot. Now here come the Golden Knights. Sykes to LeCavalier, that play in offside, and the faceoff comes outside the zone.
Alain St. Hilaire, the freshman center for the Engineers, probably one of the best freshman forwards in the ECAC. Everybody that watches him play for the first time just shakes their head, and, at least the opponents, and they say this guy's going to be a good one. He'll probably be on the ECAC All-Star team. Missed 6 games earlier in the year with a broken wrist, but he's come back with a force and is going to be a pleasant surprise for the Engineers for the next 4 years. Dan Frigian is really looking forward to watching this kid develop.
Of course, on the other side, Ollila, the freshman defenseman from Finland, Clarkson touting him for ECAC Rookie of the Year.
And well, they should, with 18 assists.
Puck loose at center. Clarkson backhands it into the zone, but right under the stick of Pat Brownlee. He just shovels it down to the Clarkson end, and that'll be an icing to bring the faceoff back into the Engineer zone. 15:15 to go, first period, no score. Mike Tamburo has yet to face a shot.
That's a good point, and the Engineers, I think, right now have to feel pretty good about the way things are going, Jim. After a 7-1 thrashing in Potsdam earlier this year, to not have fallen behind yet, nearly 5 minutes into this contest.
Of course, goaltenders will tell you they don't like to go too long without facing shots. They like to get into the game, get into the flow right away. So that could go both ways. But certainly it's a good sustained pressure in the Clarkson zone by the Engineers, obviously helped out by that penalty in the opening couple of seconds, and they've been able to sustain it. White wins the draw. Gates winds, fires through a screen. It's blocked. Ferguson plays it for RPI. Now he overskates. Now he gets it back and flips to center. Gates drives it back in for Clarkson. John Perron sets up behind the Engineer zone, wraps it around the board. Along the near side, finally knocked out to center. Race for the puck. Still loose. Riva to Ferguson, who carries in on the off wing. And now Clark turns around and comes the other way for Clarkson. Down the right side, Chris Clark leaves for White. And it's flipped to center. Jason Pagnuti on the back line for Clarkson. Now headman pass to White off his stick and deep into the RPI zone. White wins the race for it, but he's bumped off the play by Perron. And Aldous plays the puck down. Aldous takes a big hit. O'Connor tries to backhand it into the zone, gets it as far as the blue line. RPI's got to get back on side. Now they do. And the puck frozen right in front of the Clarkson bench. 14-11 to go first period. No score.
Engineer fourth line of Chris May, Jean-Francois Gosselin, and Mark Murphy out there trying to stir up a little bit of energy for the Engineers. That line created a lot of opportunities for Rensselaer last night. Chris May, the fifth-year center out of Atlanta, Georgia, plays with all the heart you can ask for, Jim. Not the most skilled hockey player in the world, but he'll give everything he has.
May and Ben Maidmont jamming a little as they try to get set in front of the Clarkson bench. Buddy Wallace to draw against Gosselin. They both jumped the gun, getting a talking to now from the linesman. Now they drop it, and RPI controls. Roshan to the line, makes a move on May. May's shot is deflected up and off the scoreboard behind the band. Roshan made a nice move at the line to clear himself and left it for May. His shot tipped up into the crowd.
Chris May knows what to do when he gets the puck, too. He sends it towards the net and then usually follows it up, sacrificing his body, looking for a rebound, trying to create some opportunities for his line mates.
Gosselin's between May and Murphy for the Engineers. Kylie and Roshan on the back line. Patrick Roshan double shifting here on defense here in the opening part of the game. RPI's had 5 blue liners on the ice so far. Loose puck in the corner. Gosselin plays it. Well, actually, he overskates it. And Clarkson able to control. Here's Buddy Wallace carrying out to center. Takes a hit at the line. And now the puck is flipped in. Kylie plays it behind the Engineer net. Ahead to Gosselin. He skates through center. May shot. Pad saved by Murphy. Good to see RPI getting their shots by and large on net tonight, Alan.
You're right, Jim.
The early going.
Last night they may have had 50 shots. Unfortunately, only about half of them got on net.
There's only been 1 or 2 that have been wide so far. Nick Windsor plays it behind his own net for the Golden Knights of Clarkson. Murray and Murphy bumping at the line. Kevin Murphy sends it ahead. Now he's checked off the play. Here comes Richardson. 3-on-1 developing. Richardson comes in, fires, and Murphy's pad save, loose puck in front. Jean-François Oul skates it off. Now here comes Clarkson the other way, 2-on-2. Oul makes a move around Brownlee, now holds up along the far left wing board. Flips it into the corner. Good chance there by the Engineers. Richardson shot right into the gut of Dan Murphy, the Clarkson goaltender. Oul sweeps it in front to Seitz. Seitz. Second shot by DeRuiter. Stopped by Tamburo. Loose puck in front. Backhander on Tamburo. He covers up. Seitz got that opportunity. And we get the whistle.
And Mike Tamburo saw plenty of rubber in that flurry, Jim, after not seeing any shots for about the first 7.5 minutes. He faced 3 there.
2 from Chris DeRuiter. The original backhander, and then he backhanded it in on his own rebound, and then Dave Seitz got the 3rd shot on. Tamburo stopped them all. 12:29 to go first period now.
Excuse me, Jim. I don't think Mike Tamburo saw that first shot, but he was in excellent position and it hit him, and that's what a goaltender has to do. If you don't know where the puck is, be in position, and most of the time it will hit you.
We're going to move the face-off to the other side. We're going to get a look here quickly while we have a second. This is Brian Richardson coming in on the 3-on-1. He elected to go for the shot from the circle. Murphy made the stop up high, couldn't control the rebound.
But Timmy Regan right in the crease there, and you saw Doug Battaglia, the other guy, the other winger, who was wide open down the right side. Brian Richardson, normally the setup man, 9 times out of 10 is going to feed that. I think Clarkson knows that. Brian Richardson probably knows Clarkson knows that. Decided to take the shot.
Seitz gets tossed out to Reuter in to take the face-off against St. Hilaire. Loose puck controlled by RPI. Perron gets it ahead to Garver. Garver makes a move around Gase. Nice move. It's shot wide of the net. Great move by Garver to get around the defenseman. Get the shot. Had a clear shot at Murphy, but he shot it wide. Now the puck down in the RPI zone. Garver retreats in the corner. He takes a bump from Seitz. Perron plays the puck around the board. Comes all the way out. And back to get it is Pagnuti in the Clarkson zone. Pagnuti on with Palmer and Gates, DeRuiter and Seitz. Good forechecking pressure by RPI here. Perron sweeps it right back in, knocked down by Seitz. He bumps it ahead. Palmer tries to make a move around Perron, but he gets it ahead to Ferguson. Ferguson sweeps to the line, turns, fires, stick save by Murphy. Loose puck in front. Palmer and St. Hilaire battle as they go to the boards for it. Palmer ties it up, looking for the face-off. Referee telling him to keep playing. Now they jam it up. Now it's loose. St. Hilaire has it. His pass intended for Kiley, intercepted by Clark. He tries to make the move around and is hauled down. And the puck thrown into the Clarkson zone. 11:10 to go first period. No score. Big hit by Ferguson. Back behind the Clarkson zone on the defenseman O'Lilla. And now Ferguson picks up the loose puck at the Clarkson blue line and carries in. He's bumped off the play. Bartel and Riva battle for the puck and swept around to the near board. Kiley in to keep it in. And now Mikko O'Lilla ahead to Guillaume Best. Best to the RPI line. Fires. Deflected up off the glass by Riva. Or by Chris May, I beg your pardon. And now here come the Engineers out of the zone. Riva, left wing pass to O'Connor. His drive right on Murphy, and he holds on, gets the whistle.
The Engineers taking the play to Clarkson early in this contest. Looked a lot like the game last night with St. Lawrence. The Engineers dominated, and then 7 minutes in, St. Lawrence got the first goal, but RPI came back to get the next 4. The Engineers are really taking it to Clarkson here, outplaying them in that last rush by Matt Garver about 2 minutes ago. That's something the Engineers have been waiting for all year long. The freshman out of the Northwood School in Saranac Lake Placid area has the reputation of being one of the best offensive forces ever to come out of that hockey powerhouse prep school. And he showed what he has on that rush a couple of minutes ago.
Gosselin, May, and Murphy the line on for RPI now, with Murray and Brownlee on defense. And this is Pat Brownlee ahead to Gosselin. Gosselin to Murphy. Murphy to the line. Winds, fires. Stopped by Dan Murphy. And we get a whistle. There are, in fact, 3 Murphys dressed tonight. Clarkson has 2 of them. Dan Murphy in goal, and Kevin Murphy, the right winger, actually a native of Glens Falls, born in Glens Falls. Spent some time in Albany before his family moved on to various parts around the country. I think now he officially hails from Harrisburg, PA, or something like that. But in any event, 2 Murphys on the Clarkson roster. And Mark Murphy, the freshman from Duxbury, Mass., number 16 in white for the Engineers. That'll be your job to keep them all straight tonight, all right?
Clarkson leads the league in Murphys on the roster. I do know that.
Loose puck in center ice. Brownlee plays for RPI. Backhands it into the zone. Gates down to play it for Clarkson. Leaves for Grant. Grant left wing pass to Maidmont. That's center ice. He just dumps it in. Clarkson changes up. RPI goes back to play it. Aldo into the corner to Murphy. He fans on his pass, but now recoups and carries to center and flips in. That one bounces wide of the goal. And icing is whistled on the Engineers, so that faceoff will come back into their zone. 9:35 to go in a fairly quick-moving first period. And as you mentioned, good sustained pressure by RPI here in the first half of the first period. As we mentioned briefly at the outset of the pregame show, part of their problem has been sustaining it for 60 minutes, which is a problem you'll see with a young team.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the Engineers need to find a way to get a goal here, too. You don't want to play this well for an entire period and come out tied. You start to see some frustration or fall behind as they did just there.
Off the faceoff, Josh Bartell drive beats Mike Tamburo. to give Clarkson a 1-0 lead. See if it may have been tipped. It was right off the faceoff. Tamburo was screened.
Yeah, I don't think Tamburo saw it until it was right on him. Looked like it went up over his far shoulder on the stick side. And as you say, it could have been deflected in front. Clarkson nevertheless jumps out 1-0 at 10:28 of this first period.
For Josh Bartell, if it indeed stands up as his goal, it'll be his first of the season. It was off the draw. The shot, you can't even see from the left of your screen. There it is. Tamburo definitely screened. We'll have to wait and get the official call to see if, in fact, it was tipped in front. That puck chipped up into the crowd by Brian Richardson. The face-off will come outside the RPI zone.
It is Bartell who gets credit for it. Nobody directly in front to tip it. I think, as you said, he was just screened.
His own defenseman, Chris Alvis, there, I think, blocked the vision of Mike Tamburo. So Josh Bartell gets the goal from Lapata, Jeremy Lapata, 5'9" junior out of Clinton, New York. Won the draw, got the assist. Here's a drive on Tamburo. He stops that. Rebound backhand into him by Lapata, and Tamburo covers that up. Clarkson's first sustained pressure of this first period, getting a little momentum off the goal. The importance of winning the draw in the other team's zone, we just saw it there.
Josh Bartell, his first goal of the season, just his third career goal. But you're right, you win the draw. People are moving around in the defensive zone trying to pick up their assignment. The player they're assigned to cover. The defenseman blasts it through a screen. The goaltender doesn't see it. It's in the net and a 1-0 lead.
This is White and Riva. Here, White wins the draw to Windsor. He winds, fires off the side of the net. Tamburo goes behind, now gives it up. His best swept it in front. White, his weak shot, loose in front. Still loose in front, swept aside by Roshan. Clarkson continuing the pressure here. White battling with Riva. He's taken down. Shot on goal, stopped by Tamburo. He covers up. Big hit between Clark and Roshan right in the crease. And we get a whistle.
And some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Some good hitting in the engineer zone. Clarkson energized by that goal off the faceoff. Now looking for some more scores here. They're pressuring the engineers in their own zone.
You know,
and Mike Tamburo smartly covered up that puck to settle his team down and get a faceoff.
And subsequent to the goal, Clarkson has won 2 consecutive draws in the RPI end. The engineers haven't been able to get the puck out.
That's something they have had trouble with all year long, Jim, in clearing their zone. They've seen the puck stay in their zone for long periods of time. There's a great hit by Patrick Roshan trying to keep Clark away from his goaltender. But he ends up on top of Mike Tamburo anyway.
Todd White and Alain St. Hilaire to take the draw to the left of Mike Tamburo. White wins it again, but this time he missed his point man. It came all the way back to the Clarkson zone. Nick Windsor back to play it. Clarkson with a 1-0 lead. Left wing pass to Clark. He's stripped by Roshan, who chases the puck down behind the net. Sweeps it around the boards. LeCavalier's shot on goal tipped wide by Clark, his own man. Now Jeff O'Connor. Along the left wing, skates through center for RPI. Dumps it into the corner. Engineers make a change on the back line as Clarkson goes back to play the puck. They wrap it around the boards to Clark. Cross ice to Best. Swept aside by Brownlee, who plays the puck out of the zone. Clarkson changing up now as they dump in. Kept it at the line. Gates drives it toward the net. Knocked down by DeRuiter. To Gates. Walks in, winds, fires, blocked by Healy. A sprawling Eric Healy made that stop. Clarkson still controlling. Loose puck now. Knocked away by Tamburo. RPI having trouble getting it out of the zone here. Clarkson with good sustained forechecking pressure. Sight takes it away. Tries to make a move around Brownlee. He's hauled down. Murray puts a hit on Palmer as Tamburo plays the puck around the boards to Healy. Healy finally sweeps it out, but Gates drives it right back in. 7.5 to go first period. Clarkson with the only goal so far. This loose puck comes all the way down to Dan Murphy, forced to stop it in the Clarkson goal. Mikko Olila. The defenseman turns back behind his own net. Garver in forechecking. Olila to Grant at the center ice. Now Perron plays the boards. And it's knocked back the other way by Clarkson. Grant carries it, tries to make the move around Aldo. And we get a whistle And we have an injury back on the Clarkson blue line. Matt Pagnuti, the defenseman, is down. I did not see what happened to him. The whistle.
I did. He and Matt Garver tangled up at the blue line, and each gave one another a shot. Garver's got a little too high up in the face of Matt Pagnuti, so Matt Garver is going to get 2 minutes either for roughing or high sticking. And the Engineers will be a man down for the first time tonight.
So we'll get our first look at the Clarkson power play. And they've got some guys up front who know what to do with it. Their power play unit's going to have Todd White, the All-American candidate, up front with Seitz and Lopata. Windsor and Clark on the back line. Chris Clark, the sophomore right wing, will move back to play the point on this power play unit. He'll play the, well, let's see what they're doing. There'll be Lopata who'll play the point. In any event, Clarkson going with 4 forwards.
They've got the force bench power play in the ECAC clicking on 22% of their opportunities.
White won that draw, but it right to the Engineer player, Roshan, who dumped it in. 6:55 to go in the period, 1:50 in the RPI penalty kill here. Windsor ahead to Seitz, down the left wing, into the circle, takes it deep, spins on Roshan. Engineers set up the defensive box, centering pass, rolls out to Windsor. Shot on goal, wide of the net. Rebound comes all the way out to Windsor along the right wing boards. This is Seitz. Down low to White. Windsor makes the shot. Now from the left point, Clark's shot is stopped by Tamburo into the corner. Rebound out to the left point, Windsor. Intercepted by St. Hilaire temporarily. Now the loose puck batted toward the net. Seitz controls in the corner. This is Windsor, fires toward the net. Blocker saved by Tamburo. Loose puck rolls wide of the ball. Now shot, save Tamburo. Seitz was right there at the corner. And Tamburo able to recover to block that one. St. Hilaire now scrambling with the puck and finally sweeping it out of the zone, and RPI will change up.
Roshan and Tamburo both lost their sticks, and they picked up each other. So Tamburo looked at it and said, "What's this?" Handed it back to Patrick Roshan.
35 seconds to go in the man advantage for Clarkson. Pagnuti's headman pass by Best rolls into Tamburo. He'll stop it at the side of the net, cover it up with the big glove.
Jim, I think one interesting stat for Clarkson on that power play, they've got 10 guys that have scored at least 2 goals, 12 guys that have scored at least 1 goal on the power play. Normally it's 3 or 4 players that do most of the scoring on the power play. That's got to make it tough to defend them when they have so many guys that can score on the power play.
They've been consistent. This goal here in the first period now makes it 11 consecutive periods in which the Golden Knights have scored a goal. And in looking back at their past games, it's been 1 or 2 in all 10 of the periods prior to this one. They haven't had a 3-goal period, but they haven't been shut out in now 11 periods.
Good, concerted, consistent hockey. Mark Morris, one of the better coaches in the league. Get good players and then get them to play well.
10 seconds to go in the man advantage. LeCavalier making the final rush for Clarkson here with the man up. Right wing to Best, tipped into the zone. Brownlee chases down for RPI. He took from behind by Uhl. And we get a whistle. And we're going to get a slashing call behind the play. It was Uhl and Brownlee were tangling up. Let's see if they're both skating toward the box. I think they're both going to go.
Yeah, Drew Taylor, the referee, was pointing at everybody. And it does look like we'll get matching slashing calls. Jean-Francois Uhl and Patrick Brownlee. So that won't change the power play. Clarkson will have another 2 seconds on their power play, but likely go 0 for 1.
That name Uhl sounds familiar. It should. Jean-Francois, the son of Ray-Jean Uhl. Longtime Montreal Canadien, now the Canadiens GM. This is the play that led to the penalty. Brownlee has swept the puck behind the boards. And then as they skated out of the screen there, they got the sticks up on one another. These penalties come at with 5:03 left. They come at 14:57. And still with 2 seconds remaining in the other Clarkson penalty.
Their matching penalties, so
the
won't
other
change
RPI
the
penalty,
manpower on the ice. It'll be 5-on-4 for 2 seconds, then the Engineers will be at full strength.
And now they are. as Battaglia comes out of the box. Roshan carries in, leaves for Regan. Back to Roshan. Centering pass tipped aside. Richardson sweeps it toward the goal, but intercepted by Pagnuti, and he carries out the center. Takes a bump. The rooter for Palmer. Good stick check by Richardson there, and that put the play in offside. The faceoff will come just outside the line.
Patrick Roshan throwing his weight around and also displaying his speed, wheeling into the zone, and then a nice give and go with Timmy Regan. The Engineers just couldn't quite make it click. And then as they came out of the zone, Roshan throwing his weight around and creating a turnover.
And when Roshan carried the puck deep like he did, Brian Richardson saw that and hung back. It was Richardson who made the stick check on the RPI blue line to prevent Clarkson from coming in. You got to watch those defensemen. When they go deep, somebody's got to rotate back, and Richardson did on that occasion. This is Roshan behind the RPI goal. We got 4.5 left, first period. Clarkson with a 1-0 lead. Richardson ahead to Regan as he's dumped. Crowd looking for a penalty, no call. And now here comes DeRuiter. One man back. DeRuiter and Roshan moves around him. Shot stopped by Tamburo up over the glass. Rebound comes to the side of the net, and DeRuiter recovers. RPI beat to the puck on that rebound. And as Tamburo stops that one as it rolls in toward him.
Good job by Pat Roshan to get back on defense there. Realized that it was not a 2-on-1, so he stepped up and took the body rather than laying back and trying to take the passing lane away. And really not much for Clarkson to shoot at.
Well, territorially, it's been a tale of two periods here in the first. RPI had the better of it for the first half, and over the last 6 minutes or so, much of the play has been in the RPI zone. And the Engineers are going to send out Riva between Ferguson and O'Connor up front with Aldous and George Murray on the back line. Todd White between Clark and Guillaume Best. The number 1 line for the Clarkson Golden Knights. White wins another draw. He's won a bunch of them here in the first period. Kyle Ferguson plays the puck. Now it's bumped off the play. And Murray has to play it. Still 2 players tied up. We're going to get a whistle. It was Aldous and Guillaume Best who went down to the ice in a heap and could not untangle themselves.
Little pummeling a la Greco-Roman wrestling going on there, and the officials decided a little bit too much, and we'll have Guillaume Best go into the box for a couple of minutes, and the Engineers will get their second power play opportunity of the evening.
Well, Aldous is going to go too, Alan, so that one's going to wash.
Oh, they called them both.
They did call them both.
I am sorry.
The RPI penalty box gate never opened up, which led us both to believe that it was only going to go one way, but as Aldous made his way over to the bench, then the gate opened and he stepped in. So they are matching holding minors to Guillaume Best.
A couple of minutes each for hugging along the boards over there. They were wrapped up for a good 15 seconds.
Shot on Tamburo, stopped by the blocker. Roshan plays the rebound and now tries to skate out. Leads for Perron. Perron ahead to Roshan. He bumps off the play and goes down. Back the other way comes Todd White. A move around Perron into the slot. Backhander up and in. Scores Todd White.
That's a beautiful individual effort by Todd White to just get around the defenseman and then simply lifted it with his backhand. Put it right over the shoulder and glove of Mike Tamburo. Top shelf, as they say. At 16-20, right here, you can see him get in and lift it. Tamburo goes down to keep the low side protected, hugging the post. And White just backhanded it right over the shoulder for a 2-0 Clarkson lead. That one comes at 16-20, and they were skating 4-on-4.
Great individual effort by Todd White. Clarkson has the 2-0 lead. It's going to be a very important 3:40 now for the Engineers to try and get one back here, turn the momentum around a little bit before the period ends. We'll see what they can do. Clarkson controls the ensuing draw, dumps it in. And Burrow plays it around the board. Healy comes back for it, knocks it down in the corner. Healy winds up through center to the Clarkson line. Bumped off by 2 players, and Pagnuti plays the puck. Kept in by Murray. And now flips to center where RPI controls. Roshan drives it in. That an offside pass.
And they're going to call icing on Pat Roshan as he was about half a stride short of the red line when he flipped that one in.
So that will bring the faceoff back into the RPI end.
That's something you don't need when you've just given up a goal to go down 2-0. Looking to get a little momentum and to ice the puck and create another faceoff right down in your own zone.
Clarkson has really been dominating the faceoffs in the RPI end here in the first period, and certainly it obviously led to their first goal, but it's led to sustained pressure too, which has had the Engineers back on their heels here over the past 7 or 8 minutes. That time the Engineers control the draw. Regan to Roshan, nice back pass to Richardson to the Clarkson line. Makes the move around Bartel, fans on his shot, now centers. Regan can't tee it up, it rolls behind the net. He battles 2 Clarkson players. Nice move by Regan, still controlling behind the net. Centering all the way through, out to DeRuiter. RPI couldn't get a stick on it in the slot. Here's DeRuiter, winds, fires, glove save Tamburo, who came out to cut down the angle.
That pass from behind the net went through about 4 pairs of skates. I don't know how that managed to avoid them all. A good rush by the Engineers, just couldn't make it finish.
One of the keys when you're in, especially in the area in front of the net, to try and keep that stick down on the ice, you never know. It rolled right by George Murray, who was holding his stick up in the air.
That's right. He was, I think, had the stick up waving for the puck and didn't get it down in time. You're exactly right. You never know when the puck's going to come out in front. If your stick's on the ice, it could deflect it.
Especially when you're close to the net.
Exactly. Hopefully it goes in the direction of the net.
2:44 left first period, 2-0 Clarkson. White Gosselin, White wins another draw. LeCavalier winds, fires, glove save, Tamburo, he lost it but then covered up. Once again, off the draw, a shot from the point. Got all the way through. That time, in contrast to the first goal, Tamburo saw it all the way.
Yeah, I don't think there was quite the array of players in front of him as there was on the shot by Bartel, which eluded him earlier in the period.
But it's going to be another face-off to the left with Mike Tamburo. Todd White again to take it. Alain St. Hilaire in the circle there for RPI. That time it goes into the corner where Brownlee controls for the Engineers. This is Chris May carrying out along the right wing. He takes a bump to center ice. Clark plays it back into the Engineers end. And we get icing is waved off by the referee there. Icing waved off. So RPI will try to carry it out. Here comes Gosselin down the right wing with May. Moves to center. Loose puck is skated off, and we get a whistle and a penalty behind the play. RPI is going to get a power play here as Chris May was taken down right in the goal crease. With 2:07 left in the first period, RPI will get the man advantage.
Nick Windsor will go. It'll probably be a hold, and Chris May, as we said earlier, doing what he does best, just playing hard, driving to the net. When he saw Gosselin skate into the zone, kept his feet moving, got behind the defender, and forced him to yank him to the ice right here. There, Gosselin just takes the puck to the center of the ice. He loses control of it, but then off to the top of the screen. You can't quite see it. Chris May drives to the net, and Nick Windsor is forced to pull him down. The Engineers, with 2:07 left in the period, will get their second power play of the evening.
There's 10 seconds remaining in the matching holding calls to Aldous and Guillaume Best. So right now, for those 10 seconds, RPI will have a 4-on-3 man advantage. They'll then go to 5-4 when those matching penalties expire. Engineers win the draw. O'Connor to Brownlee. He winds, fires, tipped up over the top, off the glove of Murphy. Clarkson controlling the rebound along the boards. DeRuiter takes a hit from Richardson. Now DeRuiter gets it back, turns, winds, can't get it out of zone. Kept in by O'Connor. He fakes the shot. Richardson holds along the boards. O'Connor one time. Skate save by Murphy. And the rebound by Best is tipped down to the Engineer end.
Dan Murphy's been sharp so far tonight, Jim. When the Engineers have been on the power play, they've tested him, but he's been tough to beat.
Healy carries in along the left wing board, takes it deep, ridden off by Bartel, and it's driven down by Clarkson. Minute 30 to go in the period, minute 20 left in the man advantage for the Engineers. They trail 2-0, trying to get one back here before the period ends. Pat Brownlee through center. Carries, dumps, and now the Engineers chase. Healy and Richardson go deep. Played, though, by Kevin Murphy of Clarkson. This is Buddy Wallace to center. Off Palmer's stick. O'Connor battles Palmer for it. They go into the boards. puck buried beneath him. 55 seconds to go in the period. Puck still loose at the feet of the players. Now here comes Tim Regan out with it. Pass to center gets by Richardson. And it's swept down to the RPI end by Clarkson where Brownlee plays. 35 seconds to go in the man advantage. Brownlee shot wide of the net. Healy plays the rebound. Deep to Regan behind the net. Wallace takes a bump from Richardson. Wallace has control of the puck. Stopped by Healy. Now LeCavalier to Todd White. And White drives it down. Over the top of the net. 10 seconds to go in the power play. 17 left in the period. St. Hilaire at the red line in front of the bench. And the puck tipped up and knocked into the RPI zone. Battaglia puts a hit on Wallace. Or on Grant, rather. Pagnuti plays the puck. Takes a hit from Battaglia. As the horn sounds, and the period comes to an end.
Period ended with a bit of a whimper there after the Engineers got on the power play. Thought they might have a chance to get one and cut the lead in half. But Clarkson, a good job of penalty killing, never really gave the Engineers much chance to get the puck inside to the grade A good scoring opportunity area. Turned them aside. Clarkson, with a pretty solid second half of the period, survived that initial charge the Engineers had in the first 10 minutes and skate away with a 2-0 first period lead.
Interesting, down below us, the two referees and the linesmen have not yet left the ice. They have Kevin Murphy, the Clarkson captain, and Todd Brownlee, the RPI defenseman, right in front of the penalty boxes, and quite a discussion going on about what we do not know. But Clarkson scored at 10:28 of the first period. Bartel off a face-off in the Engineer zone, won by by Jeremy Lapata. To Bartel at the right point, his blast beat Tamburo, make it 1-0, and a great individual effort by Todd White at 16:20. Gave Clarkson the 2-0 lead, end of one from the Houston Fieldhouse.
Hi again, Ed Egg down in one of the tunnels here in more or less the bowels of the field house. 2-0 at the end of the first period. Terrific call by Jim Brennan and Al Shibley. This is RPI Hockey Alumni Weekend. We invite back hockey players from all of the years past. In fact, looking down the list of the 30-some players who are here tonight, I think we have players who played for every coach in RPI's history with the exception of Ruben Bjorkman, even all the way back to Ned Harkness. They're being introduced out onto the ice now. Let me show you what's happening on the ice, tell you a bit about him. David Aiello has just come out. He's from the class of 1989. He got a Bachelor of Science in Management here. He's president now of Chatham Township Data Corporation in Danville, New Jersey. I think they're introducing Gordy Peterkin now. But Gerald Bailey is out there, class of 75. BS in Management, Masters in Business Administration, 1980. Now an analyst, an associate finance officer for IBM. John Bessel is out there. He was Jack Bessel when we knew him on the ice in 1984. BS in Management, Associate Dean, Rensselaer Undergraduate Admissions in Troy. Burton Clarkson Jr. from the class of 1950, played for Ned Harkness. Got a chemical engineering degree at RPI, Industry Executive Sales now for Exxon out of Houston, Texas. He was captain of the 1949-1950 team, which I do not believe played in the Fieldhouse. That may even have been, because I've heard stories when I first came here about an outdoor rink in the extremely early years. Dick Greenwald being introduced now. He's from the class of 1968. His daughter sang the national anthem here earlier. Dick got a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. He's now Vice President of J.L. Shapiro Associates in New Jersey. And again, I talked to his daughter just a bit earlier. She was the young lady who sang the national anthem here. Dick, by the way, class of 1968. Dan Hirschberger being introduced now, walking out, class of 1962. Got a bachelor's in civil engineering here. He's now the managing partner of Hirschberg and Hirschberg Civil Engineering Firm in Albany. He was a student member of Phalanx while here and a recipient of the Alumni Key Award in 1969. Carl Crosney now walking out, also from the class of 68. Bachelor of Science Management and the period.
and that enabled them to establish some momentum. They got quite a few shots on Clarkson goaltender Dan Murphy. He stopped all of them. But then about the midway part of the period, the tide started to turn momentum-wise. Clarkson breaking on top with the first goal of the game that we're going to get a look at here. This is after Todd White, or Jeremy Lapata, I beg your pardon, had won the draw out to the right point defenseman Josh Bartel, and his blast threw a screen there by 26 and white Chris Aldos, who I think blocked the view of goaltender Mike Tamburo. And Bartel's first goal of the year gave Clarkson a 1-0 lead. And
that one came almost exactly at the midway point of the first period, Jim. You're right, 10:28 of the first
here it is.
period.
I found my time. There it is, 10:28 of the first period. And then about 5.5 minutes later or so, almost 6 minutes later, Clarkson made it 2-0. Great individual effort by Todd White coming in here on the defenseman John Perrong. And you see him, White pushing the puck in front. Perrong trying to stop him with the stick, but White gets around him. And as you see on the backhand, he just flips it up over Mike Tamburo's gloved hand just under the crossbar.
And you're right, that's just good offensive drive by Todd White. From that point of view, you can see very well that John Perrong was in good position. He thought he had him covered. He was going to push him off the puck. White just turned on the jets and made the turn around the corner, and Perrong was gone, and White just shoveled it up over the shoulder of Tamburo, who had to slide across the ice to protect the bottom part of the net. White just lifted it over the shoulder.
That came in a 4-on-4 situation, as you see the Clarkson Golden Knights coming back onto the ice. RPI already out, warming up prior to the start of the second period. The White goal came on a 4-on-4, and the period ended 2-0. RPI did get a man advantage in about the final 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the period, and would have been a great opportunity had they been able to convert on it to get back into the game. Right now, obviously the third goal of this game is going to be critical. If Clarkson can build a 3-0 lead, that's going to make a long road back for an Engineer team that hasn't shown a lot of comeback ability this year. If RPI can get the first one here and make it 2-1, well then obviously the momentum will turn around.
No, and you're right. I think looking at the shot chart that we received a couple of minutes ago from the first period shows where the shots came from. It's obvious that most of the Engineers' shots were coming from the perimeter, if you will. Out near the blue line and closer to the boards than in the center part of the ice. The spot between the two face-off dots in the center of the ice is what most coaches will refer to as the grade 8 area. Clarkson with about 8 grade A shots in the first period. The Engineers was only 2. And if the Engineers fall behind 3-0, it's real tough to come back from 3 goals down when all your shots are coming from 30 or 40 feet out.
Speaking of shots, just to give you the official totals, the numbers were 12 Clarkson, 10 RPI in that first period. RPI 10 shots on goal, 15 total shots taken. 10 of them got through to Dan Murphy. He stopped them all. Clarkson actually took 21 shots in the first period, but only 12 of them got through to Mike Tamburo, and he stopped 10. Clarkson obviously getting the 2 goals, and both goaltenders with 10 saves as we head into the second period. Obviously, they changed sides. Of course, RPI will be moving left to right in the second period. Clarkson right to left. Todd White between Pagnuti and Gates. To start for Clarkson, Richardson, Regan, and Battaglia up front for RPI as Clarkson wins the draw, and we're underway here in the second period. Richardson, nice back pass to Regan, who streaks down the right wing to the circle. His shot on goal gloved by Dan Murphy, and he holds it for the whistle. That one would have been high and wide, but Murphy put the catching glove up there and grabbed it.
And the Engineers will take that. They win the faceoff, get down in the zone, force Murphy to glove it and create the faceoff. This is the way that Clarkson got their first goal. If you can win a faceoff in the offensive zone, you get the other team running around a little bit. Maybe you get a deflection or a screen shot and get a goal.
We don't have numbers on faceoffs in the first period, but clearly over the second half of the period, Clarkson dominated on the draws, especially in the RPI zone. Now the puck down into the RPI end, and we get a whistle. And the icing, I believe, is going to come back.
Mark Morris barking at referee Drew Taylor, looking for a penalty, I think, against Timmy Regan. As he was wrapped up with one of the Clarkson forwards.
Mark Morris in his 8th year as the head hockey coach at Clarkson University, a graduate of Cornell. In fact, his counterpart on the RPI bench, Dan Frigid, and Mark Morris played together under the late Terry Slater at Colgate. I misspoke when I said Cornell. It was at Colgate back in the early 80s. And then both apprenticed under Charlie Morrison at Union College at different times, Union in Schenectady, before Morris went north and Dan Frigid came over here to Rensselaer. Jeremy Lopata behind the Clarkson zone, or behind the Clarkson goal, in their own zone. And now Lopata skates through center. Winds and fires, sticked aside by Tamburo. Lopata centers the rebound, sticked aside again by Tamburo, and Ferguson plays it out to center behind O'Connor. And now Bartel for the Golden Knights. Miko Olilla now ahead to Steve Palmer. Palmer to the RPI line. There's a shot by Uhl. Stopped by Tamburo, and he holds on. Palmer and Jean-Francois Uhl on the nice crisscross. Palmer leaving the drop pass for Uhl, and his shot stopped by Tamburo. 1 minute, 1 tick gone by second period. 2-0 Clarkson. RPI sending out the line now of St. Hilaire between Matt Garver on the right, Eric Healy on the left, Patrick Rochon, and Chris Kiley on defense. Sights between DeRuiter and Pagnutti, I believe. Out for, or that's Palmer on the right wing. DeRuiter between, or Sights between DeRuiter and Palmer for the Golden Knights.
Short delay as we have a little bit of trouble with the net behind Mike Tamburo.
I think one of the cords broke on it. They're going to have to restring it to the right pipe.
The officials always carry a couple of pieces of yarn or string along with them in their pocket for just this purpose. Oftentimes you'll see the puck will travel with such force that it will rip that cotton cord, and they're going to sew it up and tie it up a little bit here so that no pucks sneak in from spots they're not supposed to get in from.
Or conversely, come in legitimately and go right through the net out to the backboards, and it happens so fast you could lose a goal, a legitimate goal.
That's a good point. You're right.
Now we're going to draw to the left of Mike Tamburo, Sights and St. Hilaire. Loose at the feet of the centerman, now kicked into the corner, and Kiley plays for RPI and moves behind his net. Engineers looking to set up the breakout pattern. Left wing Healy uses the boards to beat St. Hilaire, but too far ahead of him and driven back in. Now Kiley off the skates of St. Hilaire at center ice. He picks it up at the red line, carries it along the right wing. Winds, fires, pad saves Murphy. Rebound comes all the way out to Palmer. We get a whistle and a penalty called as an RPI player taken down in front. And a holding call on Clarkson's Lacavalle is going to give RPI the man advantage here. 1:25 into this second period. So the Engineers ended the first period on the power play, and they get another one here quickly in the second.
Eric Healy created that. Watch on the replay here, Jim, as you see St. Hilaire come into the zone. Can't find anybody to pass to. Shoots through a screen right there in front of the goaltender. You see Healy just hauled down as he's going to the net looking for the rebound. Just good hard play by Eric Healy creates the penalty.
The RPI power play unit, Richardson between Regan and O'Connor, Brownlee and Rochon on the points. Richardson wins, feeds up Regan. He couldn't tee it up right in front. Kept in by Rochon. Beautiful play by Richardson, winning the draw right toward the net. Tried to set up Regan in front, but Regan couldn't tee it up. And now here comes Clarkson out of the zone through center. Kevin Murphy at the RPI zone carries in offside. He couldn't hold control of the pass. He put himself offside. That faceoff will come just outside the RPI end.
Good job by defenseman Matt Pagnutti for the Clarkson Golden Knights as he was standing behind Brian Richardson deep in the Clarkson zone, and as Richardson tried to feed a pass to the point, Pagnutti just lifted Richardson's stick. The puck just trickled out, and a Clarkson defender picked it up and sent it out of the zone.
That was a pretty play by Richardson before that off the draw. He won it, took it himself right to the net, and Regan was all alone in front. Here's Rochon driving it into the pads of Murphy. He stops it, kept in by Brownlee at the point. This is O'Connor. Clarkson player lost a glove and a stick in front. Now here's Richardson. He winds, fires it wide. Rebound from all the way out to the left point. Rochon holds it in. As cross-ice pass is out of the zone, RPI's got it clear now. 1:19 to go in the man advantage. Kept in by Richardson. That hurt. Clearing pass by Josh Bartel hit Brian Richardson in the left ankle. And he's going to have to skate that off. He'll go to the bench as RPI changes up now. 1:16 to go in the man advantage.
And a great rush created by the speed of Patrick Rochon created that flurry in the Clarkson zone as the faceoff near the RPI blue line came back near the Clarkson blue line, and Roshan just turned on the Jets, beat everybody to the puck, and had a blast from the top of the circle, but Dan Murphy saw it all the way and kicked it aside.
Garver takes the draw, wins it to St. Hilaire. Aldous and Perrong on the back line on this power play unit. Garver carries in, sets up. Aldous holds it in at the line. To Garver along the board, takes a hit, puck is loose. Gates controlled, can't get it out of the zone. Now Palmer plays for Clarkson. He does clear. Right into the chest of Chris Aldous. He turns, brings it the other way now, backtracks a little bit. John Perrong dumps it in. RPI chases to the far corner. Healy stops it, but overskates. St. Hilaire in behind him to play it. Healy behind the net to St. Hilaire. Tries to walk out front. Puck is loose. In the slot. Aldous. Nice move. Trying to tee it up. Perrong. Into the circle. Now Perrong right point. Aldous. Garver tried to one-time it, but it was too far behind his stick. Here's Perrong. Winds. Fires. Stopped in front. Might have been off Hilaire's stick. Controlled by Garver. Nice move. Shot. Wide of the net. Beautiful individual move by Garver to get the shot off. But he fired it wide. Loose puck in the slot. Garver plays it to the boards. Chases after it himself. Perrong, cross ice. Aldous. He drives. Weak shot. He broke his stick. Rebound. Loose in front. Palmer stands on the clearing pass. Garver sweeps toward the net. It's blocked by the defense. Finally driven out by DeRuyter.
Engineers did everything but score on that flurry, Jim, in front of Dan Murphy. And as you mentioned, all set up by a great individual effort just to the right of Murphy by freshman forward Matt Garver. That really got this crowd going.
Great piece of stick handling as he came from behind the net out front. Made a great move on the defenseman. And as the defenseman deked toward the board, Garver turned in right on the goaltender. And Murphy beat him that time. And then the rebound came out in the slot and was eventually skated away.
Engineers, for the first time in a long time, were able to get a couple players in front of Dan Murphy and create some problems in front of him.
While that happened, the penalty time expired, so teams are back in full strength. Clarkson through center. Grant dumps it in on Tamburo. He leaves for Roshan. 16:15 to go second period. 2-0 Clarkson. As RPI comes out of the zone. May tips it all the way down, and we get a whistle. They're bringing that one back. I thought he called icing. I thought Chris May tipped that puck at center ice.
He did, but he wasn't quite across the red line when it went off his stick. It was a good call by the officials. That was icing. The puck will come all the way back to the right of Mike Tamburo. 2-0 Jim, 16:07 left in the second period. Much like the first period, the Engineers dominating the territorial battles right now, but not able to beat Dan Murphy, the goaltender.
But they have come out in this second period like they did the first. We haven't seen the lull yet that this team has suffered through on far too many occasions this year.
They need to be rewarded very soon, though, with a goal. As you said, right now, the third goal, if it goes to Clarkson, it will be a real tough hill for the Engineers to climb.
Loose puck rolls behind the Engineer goal. Maidmont plays it for Clarkson. Takes a hit from Gosselin. Grant moves in. Maidmont beats him to the puck, sweeps it out. We got a delayed penalty upcoming on RPI.
So hold on Chris Kiley behind the play as they scrummed in the corner. Frank Kroll, the referee, sends Kiley to the box for 2 minutes. The Engineers digging themselves a hole, putting Clarkson on the power play once again.
4:11 the time of this penalty to Kiley here in the second period. And the Clarkson power play unit comes out. White between Lopata and Sight. With Clark and Windsor on the blue line. The RPI penalty killers to start out here will be St. Hilaire and Regan up front. Roshan and Brownlee on the blue line.
St. Hilaire's out there to try to win the face-off. As you mentioned, the Engineers have lost the majority of them. He's the best one they have, and they need to win one right now.
They've lost a lot in their own zone, and there's another one. As White controls Windsor to Sight. Windsor fakes the shot. Sight tried to one-time it, couldn't tee it up though. One-timers, the puck's got to hit the stick in the right spot or you can't do it. Stopped by Tamburo on the shot, a weak shot from just inside the line. It was on net, but it didn't have a lot of steam on it. Tamburo able to stick that aside. Minute 35 to go in the Clarkson penalty as Nick Windsor carries up through his own zone. He drives it in. Tamburo stops behind his net, sweeps it around the board. St. Hilaire takes a hit. Sight and Lopata with Roshan. Brownlee sweeps it out. Off Regan's stick. He's racing Windsor, but Windsor beats him to it. Tim Regan sticking with him on the forecheck. Minute left now in the Clarkson man advantage. The Engineers send it back down and they change up. Parang Aldos come out on defense. It's O'Connor and Riva up front on the penalty kill. Jeremy Lopata. Backhand pass across the zone to Windsor. He sends out Palmer. Palmer into the RPI zone. Centering pass, stopped in front, loose puck, jammed and stopped by Canberra. Two stop, tough save. And finally swept the center and we get a whistle.
The best penalty killer on the ice is generally the goaltender, and that was the case right there by Mike Tamburo. He made two dramatic stops right in front.
The second one was the tough one because he was down and he was able to keep the pad on the ice.
We might have a call of too many men on the ice here.
We're going to take another look at the flurry in front. This is Palmer with the centering pass. There's the first stop, and there's the second one off the stick of sight.
Tamburo at 5'8" had a foot on each post, and I don't want to know what that feels like. That's a big split. Clarkson will get a man in the box, and I believe it's too many men on the ice.
It might have happened when RPI finally cleared the zone. The Clarkson player coming off the bench or going to. I didn't see if the puck had hit them. I don't know that he played it.
No, but you're right. If it hits
But if
them
it hit 'em.
and there are more than 5 players on the ice, that's akin to playing it, and it is too many men on the ice against the Golden Knights.
So that's going to nullify the final 26 seconds of the Clarkson power play. So it'll be 4 aside for those 26, and then RPI is going to get a minute 34 with the man advantage.
And the Engineers surviving that power play opportunity for Clarkson. Mike Tamburo over at the bench after making those 2 big stops, getting a little work done on his skates or some of the equipment just above his skates. It might be the back of the pads, maybe a strap is snapped or something along those lines from the shin pads.
Directly below us, but the assistant trainer there has got his back covering what's happening. It looks like he's got his bad edge, I think. He might be getting that blade sharpened. So we've got a momentary delay here. Again, there's 26 seconds remaining in the RPI penalty to Kiley. So the teams will be skating 4 aside, and when Kiley comes out, RPI will be on the man advantage then for a minute 34. St. Hilaire, Garver, Aldos, and Parang on for the Engineers. DeRuiter, Palmer, Bartel. On for Clarkson. This is Garver, he sweeps it in. O'Lilla, the 4th player on the ice for the Golden Knights. As Palmer comes through center with the puck. To the RPI line. Swept off the puck, now he chases after it. St. Hilaire plays for RPI. Cross-ice pass to Garver off his skate. Down into the Clarkson end. Garver moves around Bartel with some speed. Hangs onto the stick there and pulls him down. And we are going to get the call.
Bartel closed his glove on the puck.
Garver was lucky he avoided the call there because he had a hold of Bartel's stick, and that's what Bartel's arguing with the referee about now.
And Garver also had a legitimate call as he turned the corner on Bartel. Bartel's stick got up under Matt Garver's shin. So Garver then just grabbed the stick and pulled it away. Bartel covered the puck. It'll be a face-off. Could be a 2-minute penalty in that case, but they ruled it wasn't flagrant enough.
The Kiley penalty is over, so RPI's got the man advantage now. 1:25 left in that as they win the draw and keep it in. Roshan left point. Gets it back. Richardson cross ice to Brownlee. Fires it wide, stopped by Pagnuti's stick. He chases into the corner, tries to clear, can't, but the rebound off the sideboard comes to Murphy, and he dumps it into the RPI end. Tamburo takes a dump behind the net. Loose puck at center ice. Kevin Murphy winds, fires, blocked by Brownlee's stick. And the RPI defenseman chases in behind Tamburo to get it, and he comes out. Right wing pass to Richardson. Through center into the Clarkson zone to the circle. Winds, fires, shot is blocked behind the net. O'Connor plays the loose puck. 35 to go in the RPI power play. Brownlee and Roshan playing catch at the line. Richardson. Roshan one-timer Stopped by Murphy. Rebound out of the zone. Brownlee couldn't keep it in at the right point. RPI clears and now dumps it back in, right onto the stick of a Clarkson player who drives it down. 10 seconds to go in the man advantage. Clarkson changes up. RPI tries to catch him in the change. Garver dumps it in, but it's swept off the play. Gates controls, wraps it around the boards, right underneath Matt Garver. He picks up the puck, turns to the circle, moves in, tees it up, stands on the shot, loose puck, and swept aside finally. Good individual effort by Garver again, but he couldn't get the shot on goal. Sent all the way down by Clarkson. We get a whistle as they ice it, and they'll bring the face-off back into the Clarkson zone. The penalty has expired. Another RPI power play goes by the board.
0 for 4 now on the power play are the Engineers, but another good effort right there by Matt Garver. Created some opportunities in front. He fanned on one shot, and then St. Hilaire was tied up too tightly and unable to get the rebound as it laid right at his feet, about 5 feet out. Great stop by Dan Murphy on one shot. Now here we see Garver right in there, overskates it a little bit, then kind of fans on it.
Fanned on that first one, and that one there, he just couldn't get it teed up. But good effort by Matt Garver. He's made some things happen in the offensive zone here his last couple of trips out.
If he keeps working like that, he ought to get one tonight, and if he does, I think that might open the floodgates for him because he's a legitimate scorer.
12 minutes to go, second period, 2-0 Clarkson. Headman pass to White, who was almost ahead of the field, ended up offside as the puck was deflected as it came through the neutral zone. White almost broke in behind the RPI defense. Engineers had 4 guys across the line, but White had a full head of steam, and the RPI guy standing still.
Todd White's not the kind of guy who's going to get caught from behind very often either.
Centering Best and Clark. RPI's got St. Hilaire, Garver, and Healy out against his line. St. Hilaire has pretty much played White well tonight. Perron trying to stick handle through center is ridden off the play. Clarkson dumps it in. White chases around Aldous. Sweeps behind the net. Stays on it. Leaves for Best. Best and Clark. St. Hilaire and Perron. The 4 of them battling. Now White controls in the corner. He's bumped off the play. Healy knocks it out of the zone. Here's Garver. One man back. It's Bartel. Hilaire comes in. Tip shot up over the net. And the net is knocked off to Moorings, and we get a whistle. Great setup by Garver to Hilaire, streaking in behind the play, right down the slot. Chips the centering pass on net, and it went up and over the crossbar.
That's the best combination the Engineers have had all night long. St. Hilaire from Garver. He just gets the stick on it, chips it high. Might have hit the crossbar, Jim. That didn't miss by a whole lot. Then St. Hilaire and Murphy go charging into the net. It comes off his moorings, and we get the whistle. But Matt Garver is just playing a great game, the best game I've seen him play thus far this year. And St. Hilaire is just one of the most talented and intelligent hockey players the Engineers have had in recent years.
Well, he showed good speed there, too, because as I started to call it, it was Garver one-on-one with Bartel, and suddenly St. Hilaire streaking into the play behind it and got himself a great opportunity. Richardson wins that draw, drives it on net. Murphy makes the stop and holds on. 11:16 to go, second period. Still 2-0 Clarkson.
And a little bit of jostling in front between Timmy Regan of the Engineers and Kevin Murphy of Clarkson, but nothing comes of it. 11:16 left. Clarkson with a 2-0 lead. The Engineers coming hard, Jim, but just not able to put one behind Dan Murphy.
Well, the effort has been there in spurts all season long, as we've mentioned a couple of times. Here's off the draw shot by Regan. It's deflected up over the glass. Murphy got a piece of that one. Good hard shot by Tim Regan. Loose puck at center. Richardson just backhands it into the zone. Kevin Murphy plays for Clarkson. Now down to the RPI line. Richardson comes back the other way. Through Battaglia's legs. He chases it down, carries it in, goes deep. Takes the hit. Puck loose in the near boards corner. RPI player dumped it. We are going to get a penalty call.
It'll be a boarding call against Pagnuti as he took Timmy Regan into the boards pretty strong. Regan slow getting up. He's all right. It'll be a boarding call to Matt Pagnuti. The Engineers will go on the power play.
9:19 the time of the penalty. So RPI will get yet another opportunity with the man advantage. as they look to get a goal to get back into the game. Right now they trail 2-0.
Engineers 0 for 4 in the power play. Clarkson with just 2 power plays. Engineers need to make something happen on this one. They've got to score here because, Jim, you know, officials do like to tend to even it up. So the next time the Engineers breathe on a Clarkson player, you'll probably see them go to the box.
The St. Hilaire line is out. Garver left, Healy right. Perong and Aldos at the point on this man advantage opportunity for the Engineers. St. Hilaire wins it, actually kicks it back to Perong. Aldos, Perong. Aldos right in the center of the zone, at the line. Perong winds, fires. Sticked aside by Murphy into the corner. Healy gets control. Perong keeps it in. Aldos. Garver. Shot. Stopped by Murphy off his shoulder. Loose puck.
Boy, that one had to hurt too, Jim.
Perong keeps it in at the right point. This is Aldos. Perong. Shot through. Blocked by Healy. It hit Healy in front. And Clarkson able to clear. 1:23 to go on the man advantage. John Perong dumps it into the corner. Engineers chase in. Garver puts a hit on, but the pass is the puck is cleared over the head of Brownlee and all the way down. 1:09 to go in the man advantage. RPI changing up now. Richardson, O'Connor are out with Regan. Here's Richardson, goes around a Regan screen into the zone. He gets spun off. O'Connor keeps the clearing pass in. Richardson plays it, carries out by the line, winds, fires, blocked by Jean-Francois Houle, and the puck rolls down in the RPI zone. Tambero comes out to play it. And RPI flips it to center. 38 seconds to go in the man advantage. 9:17 left in the period. 2-0 Clarkson. Roshan overskates. Here's Houle. He's taken down. Penalty call.
Jim, that's just as I said, that's a bad call. When you go down, you take the player down. As long as you hit the puck first, it's not a penalty, but the Engineers have had a couple power plays in a row, so we knew that next call would not have to be a real obvious one.
Well, it didn't take much to pull Houle down because he had his shoulder lowered. He was trying to turn the corner. His momentum was carrying down toward the ice. We're going to take a look at it here. You'll see Roshan is beaten. And Houle, as he turns to go in, just went right over the shoulder of Roshan. And so that will negate the final 25 seconds of the RPI man advantage. So the clubs will be 4 aside.
Critical point in the game right now, Jim, as the Engineers have had it going their way the first half of the second period. Clarkson has successfully killed off a couple of Engineer power play opportunities. And now Clarkson will get one of their own in 25 seconds. The Engineers have to weather this and then get the momentum back.
Dan Riva out now. He hasn't been out too much in the second period. He's out with Kyle Ferguson, Brownlee, and George Murray. 4 aside for 25 seconds, then Clarkson gets the man advantage. Loose puck off the draw. Tambero flips to the corner. Ferguson plays. Now Olilla. Olilla turns. Shot is blocked by Brownlee. Ferguson carries into the corner. He takes a bump but controls the puck. Now bangs it off the boards and it's controlled by Clarkson. Olilla. Shot stopped by Tambero. White and Clark. Clarkson with the man advantage now. Olilla's shot blocked by Ferguson. To the near boards. Lopata walked it along the goal line. In front. Shot. Stopped. Stuffed up and in. Sykes on the rebound with a backhand. And RPI is going to argue this one. Tambero claiming as Clarkson was in the crease.
Yeah, and I think he's going to lose it. He's going to lose the argument, obviously. But I don't blame him for making his case, as he had Clarkson forward right in his face when that puck went in. Nevertheless, it is a power play goal and a 3-0 Clarkson lead.
Yeah, that broke down before the shot was taken when Jeremy Lopata had the puck all alone along the goal line and was able to just walk in from the corner right to the side of the post and flip it in front. We'll take a look at it here. Here's Lopata walking in unchecked. He stuffed it. Tambero stops that, but Sykes backhands it in.
Yeah, the rule, Lopata was on top of Tambero, but they rule that George Murray assisted him, pushing him into Tambero. So the goal stands. Sykes from Lopata at 11:32, a power play goal. And for Seitz, that's his 14th of the season. And it's going to be a long way back for Rensselaer at this point, Jim.
2 points on the night for Jeremy Lapata, the center iceman for Clarkson. He's assisted on the first and the third goals. 8:25 to go, second period. 3-0 now Clarkson. And off the draw, they dump it right in. Chris Aldos throws to the corner. Perrong on the chase. Now Maidmont. Aldos pulls him down. Wallace up along the board. RPI able to get it out. Here's Gosselin to the Clarkson line. His shot stopped by Murphy. Rebound loose in front. Clarkson skates it off. Here comes Steve Palmer. Or Maidmont, I beg your pardon. Maidmont tries to move around Perrong, and a back-checking Chris May takes control. May goes down, gets up, looks for a call, doesn't get it. Perrong to the left wing, Aldo. Overskates the puck. Windsor backhands it to center to Maidmont. Maidmont leaves for DeRuiter. DeRuiter, backhander, stopped by Tamburo as he moved around Roshan. DeRuiter still controlling the puck behind the net. Good strength by Chris DeRuiter. Center, Seitz, backhander, stopped. A second time, stopped again, and we get a pile-up and a whistle.
And the difference in these two teams, Jim, as you saw, the Engineers were just cleared out in front of Dan Murphy a couple of minutes ago, unable to really get in close and get off a shot. And right there, Clarkson had 2 forwards stationed in front of Mike Tamburo. And Seitz, who just got the other goal from in close, was standing right against the post, poking at the puck as Mike Tamburo fell on top of it and created the face-off to his left. The Engineers need to find a way to clear out the area in front of Tamburo so he can see these shots and not have to face 2 or 3 in a row from in close. Here you see him right there stopping it. Right. And Seitz right there shoveling at the puck, but Tamburo able to keep it out of his net.
Seitz and Ferguson on the draw now. Goes behind the RPI net. Roshan flips it back the other way to an empty corner. Kiley takes a bump. And that puck knocked all the way down, icing waved off. 7:07 left, second period. Engineers trying to get their forecheck in gear now. Battaglia puts a hit on Le Cavalier. Regan comes in to play the puck. He bumps Windsor. Battaglia sweeps behind the net, right into the skates of Regan. He's holding, looking for the draw, not going to get it though. Steve Palmer flips it out. DeRuiter uses the boards to send Seitz away through center. He dumps it in. Clarkson will change up. RPI goes back to play it. Patrick Roshan, long headman pass up to the Clarkson line to Regan. He sweeps it in. Now the Engineers change. As Healy and Garver come out. With Murray and Brownlee. White into the zone, goes around Brownlee. Puck rolls into Tamburo. He knocks it aside. Now Garver back checking, able to carry it away. Here's Matt Garver through center. Into the Clarkson zone. Makes a nice move. Backhand shot. Stop. Rebound. Some play out. Healy shot. We got a whistle, but just as Eric Healy was letting the shot go, the referee blew the whistle. That Healy shot would not have counted had it gone in.
You're exactly right. They're calling Matt Garver for being in the crease. And the Engineer fans are a little unhappy that that call goes against them. Feel that it's very similar to the call that was not made on the last Clarkson goal. But Matt Garver, again, just flying down the ice, handling the puck. Here you see it comes into the Clarkson zone, shovels a backhander in on Murphy, who sticks it way out in front for a rebound. But see Garver right there standing in the crease.
Well, that was after the whistle that he spun those skates out. Tagnutti's pass gets away from Gates. He has to go to the boards to chase it and dumps it to center. Jean-Francois Houle to the RPI line, carries in, goes around Murray, tries to center but loses control of the puck. Now here's Palmer, or Lopardo, I beg your pardon. Behind the net, Murray goes down. Swept to the corner, Healy just chops it out to center. Matt Tagnutti back to play it for Clarkson. 5.5 to go, second period. 3-0 Clarkson. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game from wherever you're watching it. RPI alumni locations throughout the United States. Good hit on Ferguson by Grant. The puck beneath him. And we get the whistle. Face-off will be in the RPI zone.
Only about the third shift in this period for the Riva, O'Connor, and Ferguson line. The Engineers had several power plays early on, so most of the ice time has been garnered in this second period by St. Hilaire, Healy, Garber, and the Richardson, Regan, Battaglia line.
And both have been skating well, particularly the St. Hilaire line. I thought they haven't been beaten to the puck too many times tonight. Unfortunately, it's happened at a couple of critical times, and it's led to some goals. John Perrong sets up behind the RPI goal. He gets double teamed, but manages to get the puck away, and it's sent all the way down. We'll get an icing call here just as it crosses the goal line, and we'll bring it back to the other end. 4-5-4, 4:54 left, second period. So Clarkson with the 3-goal lead now, and with the goal here in the second, running their consecutive period streak up to an even dozen. 12 straight periods they've scored at least a goal.
And they just keep coming at you with 3 or 4 solid lines. And that's how they manage to keep scoring goals in each and every period, and that you never get a chance to lay back and rest. Everybody on this team can score.
They've won 3 straight coming into tonight since the loss at St. Lawrence a couple of weekends ago. Here's Aldis on the right wing to Ferguson. He takes a bump from LeCavalier. And now the net is off the pipes as Riva and Windsor are both tangled up in behind Dan Murphy.
Dan Riva just charged into the net. He went to the net strong, and literally, I mean, he had no idea where the puck was, and he really didn't have scoring on his mind. He just wanted to go into the net.
Well, it might not be a bad idea to create some confusion there in front of Dan Murphy. He's had a good look at virtually all of the RPI shots tonight, and as you mentioned before, Tamburo on the last couple of scrums in front of his net has cost him a goal here one time, and not the time before that, but clearly he's been bodied a little bit in his own goal crease, and that hasn't happened on the other end.
No, the Engineers need to get some people in front to create those screens and look for a deflection.
4:35 to go. Here's Brian Richardson carrying through center. To the top of the circle. Centering for Regan off his skate into the corner. Comes out along the boards. Rochon throws a weak shot toward the net. It's blocked in front. Scramble for it. Site's able to use the boards to get it out to center. And back into the RPI end. Kiley turns and throws it back out. Clarkson dumps it back in offside. They clear now and play continues. Regan backhand pass out of the zone just to clear. Intended for no one, apparently. There's no one there. But now here's an intercept by White. Centers. Best just could not tee it up as he was in alone on Tamburo. Clearing pass blocked, kept in at the line by Clarkson, and now RPI controls. Here's Murphy. 3-on-2 developing. His shot stopped by Dan Murphy. Mark Murphy's shot, Dan Murphy's save. Centered in front. Murphy bumped off the play. Regan battling behind the net. He takes a hit from Best. Trying to throw it out front. Does. Nobody there for RPI. Now kept it at the line and now out. Here's Clark down the left wing for Clarkson. His backhander is stopped by Tamburo. Mark Murphy dumps in front of the RPI net. Puck in the corner. Guillaume Best takes a hit from Brownlee. Best holding the puck along the boards. Now it's loose. George Murray backhand pass up the sideboard. Cleared out of the zone. We got a whistle, and we're going to have a penalty called, a tripping call on Clarkson, on Chris Clark. So it's at the 17-minute mark of the second period. RPI will go back on the power play as Chris Clark goes off 2 minutes for tripping. And the Engineers will have another opportunity to try to beat Clarkson goaltender Dan Murphy, who's been perfect so far tonight.
And they need to get some people in front, Jim. We've been saying it most of the night. They've got to get a big body in front. You might see Kyle Ferguson come out, not to start the power play here, but they need to find somebody with the strength to stand up in front of the goal and create a screen and possibly a deflection.
Off the draw, it goes down into the Clarkson end. They try to clear canvas. Ricochet off the boards. RPI's Healy can't control, however. Aldis keeps it in and drives it deep. Nick Windsor plays for Clarkson. He can't get it out. Aldis keeps it in at the left point again and drives it toward the goal. It gets in on Murphy. Got by LeCavalier, the defenseman. Murphy sticks it to the backboards, though, where Healy and Kevin Murphy tie up, or rather Nick Windsor. Poole goes down. Garver killed him. Healy up along the boards, but Hoole's going to be able to skate it out for Clarkson. Take him down 2-on-2. Poole moves around Aldous. Now winds, fires, blocked by Aldo. And now Clarkson will rag it just a bit, and now driven down in. Minute 11, minute 10 to go in the man advantage for RPI. John Perron skates out of his own zone. The Richardson line is on now. Perron to the line, carries in, goes wide, deep into the corner, behind the net, trying to center. RPI still got nobody in front of the net, though. Clarkson able to clear off glass and out.
That was a good observation, Jim. Perron took it all the way to the corner, looking for somebody in front to pass to, and everybody was out along the boards.
40 seconds left in the man advantage, a minute 40 in the period. Headman pass to Regan at the line. He leaves for O'Connor, top of the circle, fires it wide. Richardson backhands it into the corner behind the net. Now it goes. Regan after it. Bumps with Steve Palmer. Takes a hit from Bartel. Now Richardson and O'Connor in there. Referee letting them play. Now we get the whistle and the face-off. RPI could have used to get that whistle a few seconds earlier as the penalty time winding down now. They'd like a couple of extra seconds, knowing that the face-off will be in the Clarkson zone.
No, you're right. 18 seconds left. That's plenty of time with the face-off down there. But you've been mentioning all night long, they've been losing most of the face-offs to Clarkson. The engineers need
That's
to
been my
get
impression.
a draw.
We should point out we don't have any official numbers on the face-off, but
If you say it forcefully enough, Jim, everybody's going to believe it. I think you're right.
Todd White has won a bunch of them down in that particular circle. Now it's in his defensive zone here in this period.
May be a time where we'll see Richardson try and push it and push it ahead towards the goal.
That was one of the worst drops I've ever seen.
Oh, that was terrible. You're right.
Here comes Clarkson. They throw it to center. And Roshan back to play it for RPI. Final couple of seconds of the man advantage. RPI comes in now. The Clarkson player's out of the box, but he's not back into the play as Richardson centers. O'Connor's shot blocked by the defense. It hit Winter in the skate. O'Connor didn't get much on it. Here's Regan. Teams are skating full strength now. That shot gets through to Murphy. Blocked. He can't control the rebound, but it's skated off by LeCavalier. Kept in the zone, however, by Roshan. RPI changing up. Nick Windsor plays it for Clarkson. His pass out of the zone to Wallace, who dumps it in. And now Clarkson will change up. Final half minute here, second period. Clarkson's got the only goal of the period. They lead at 3-0. Got 2 in the first, 1 here in the second. 20 seconds left, second period. Garver gets it out to Healy. 2-on-1 with St. Hilaire. Healy to the circle. Good defensive play made by Gates, though, to take Healy out of the play and the puck with him. Great defensive effort by Clarkson there. Final 4 seconds. Aldous at the point, can't keep it in. Play offside as the horn sounds, ending the second period. Another good chance, RPI with a 2-on-1. Healy and St. Hilaire coming in. But the defenseman, Aaron Gates, freshman from Essex Junction, Vermont, made a heck of a play there to break it up.
I think Eric Healy waited just a little bit too long, Jim, to make the pass to St. Hilaire. By the time he realized he had St. Hilaire alone on the far wing, Gates had closed ground and poked the puck away. But you're right, a great effort defensively by Aaron Gates to break up that last rush.
1 goal in the period, a power play score by Clarkson stayed sights at 11:32 to give the Golden Knights the 3-0 lead. End of 2 here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Clarkson 3, Rensselaer 0. Let's go downstairs now to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim. Back down here underneath the grandstand, 3-0, end of the second period. I tell you, I watched Clarkson warm up and kept thinking, I hope this kid Murphy is their starter. In the warm-ups, he had nothing. He sure does, though, in the first 2 periods. This is not the only varsity hockey team playing on this ice at RPI these days. Since you left, something has changed. There's now a women's team, and they're good.
Y'all ready for this?
As a women's team, we've been a club
With a few different breaks. 3-0 at the end of the second intermission, ready to start the third period. the glorious comeback, the stunner that will give us 4 goals in this period. What do you say, Jim Brennan?
I say, if you get that one right, Ed, I'd also like to hear your thoughts on what the market's going to be doing next week. But, you know, looking at the second period stats here, in terms of which way the ice is tilted, total shots, even at 35 apiece. Now, in terms of shots that got through to the goaltenders, 21 for RPI, and Dan Murphy has stopped all 21 of them. 22 have gotten through to Mike Tamburo, and he stopped 19 of those. And Alan, you look at the 3 goals that Clarkson has scored. The first one was on a screen. The second one was on a great individual effort by Todd White. The third one was on the one defensive breakdown that hurt when Lopata was able to walk in from the corner. Here he is here, all alone, carrying the puck in along the goal line, gets right to the net, jams it, is stopped, but Tamburo's down and unable to play the rebound, and Seitz wasn't checked either there.
No, you're right. Seitz was standing all alone waiting for that rebound to come out to him, and it did. And then Lopata managed to fall on top of Tamburo and kind of keep him down on the ice so that the puck could be lifted over the top of him.
But somebody lost a check on Lopato down in the corner there, and that led to the goal. And really, that's the only defensive breakdown that has hurt RPI in the goal column.
No, you're right. As you said, the shot by Todd White was just a great burst of speed around John Perron. The Engineers, I think, as we were talking off camera before, the main difference is the quality of shots. Clarkson is getting more shots from in close and getting more of the rebounds than the Engineers are able to get on Dan Murphy. Clarkson is clearing Engineer forwards out in front of Murphy so that if they do get a quality shot, it's only one. They don't get the rebound.
Well, both clubs are back on the ice here, and we've got just a few seconds before the third period is about to start.
I expect that we'll see Dan Pridgeon reduce his line probably to the 3 quality lines. He'll probably go to 5 defensemen in this third period, go to shorter shifts and just try and get some more pressure on Dan Murphy. As we mentioned a couple of times in the second period, the line of Alain St. Hilaire, Eric Keeley, and Matt Garver has been their best all night long. And then Brian Richardson, Timmy Regan, and Doug Battaglia have played well as well, and they're always a threat to score. Richardson, one of the leading scorers in the league, with 45 points. So I think you'll see those lines get most of the ice time.
You mentioned after the first period that RPI didn't get any shots in the grade A area down there between the circles right in front in the short slot. Second period, they did get a few down there. Garver had a couple. St. Hilaire had one. Murphy obviously stopped them all, but at least RPI was getting the shots in a little bit closer.
Yeah, you're right, and they had a couple of more opportunities in close where they fanned on the puck or they were just well checked by a Clarkson defenseman. They need to keep up that kind of effort, and frankly, you know, they'll take a break. That wins some hockey games. They'll need a deflection or a bad bounce to go their way, and if they could get a quick one here that would get this crowd behind them, then it might be a brand new hockey game.
We'll see what happens. Final 20 minutes here at the Houston Fieldhouse. RPI will be moving from right to left as you watch them. Clarkson going left-right.
Try west-east.
Yeah, west-east toward the stage.
As Ed Begg mentioned earlier, pretty good crowd tonight. Last night, a little over 3,600. I'd say this crowd is pretty close. The Engineers, you know, Jim, just 7-15 and 3 at this point. That's a test to the fan support they enjoy here. They're still drawing well.
Here we go, third period. The Richardson line is out. Roshan carries into the zone. His shot's good.
Senior captain Patrick Roshan with his 9th of the season probably caught Murphy just a little bit unawares back on his heels. They win the opening face-off. 6 seconds in, Roshan beats Murphy's glove.
Talk about the importance of winning the draw. That time Richardson beat Todd White. Roshan skated right around Brian Richardson, almost used him as a screen to lose his man. Came right into the zone. We'll take a look at it. Here's off the draw. Now watch Richardson. He cuts right there behind Richardson and gets White looking the other way. Comes in, and as you said, he caught Murphy flat-footed.
And it was actually 2 Clarkson players, I think, that both decided to go to Richardson, and it allowed Roshan to just skate in untouched.
6 seconds into the period, RPI's on the board. Play now behind the Clarkson end. Brian Richardson takes a spill behind the net. Tagnutti carries out. And now now flips the center to Best. He's bumped off the play. RPI controls for a moment. Now Chris Clark, backhand pass to the RPI zone. White is in ahead of the play. He called down, but he was offside. The faceoff will come outside.
And the Engineers now will try to keep the pressure on Clarkson. The crowd will get behind their hometown team, and the Engineers will try to keep pressure on Clarkson. Clarkson, of course, will want to weather the next couple of minutes, and they'll be looking for an Engineer mistake and an odd man rush on Mike Tamburo.
Well, normally a team will have a great run, and if they don't get anything and the run ends, oftentimes that's it for them as we get one more quick look at the goal. Roshan, just a quick wrister. Beat Murphy up top over the glove.
Had some steam on it.
Puck into Clarkson zone. Lopata knocked away by O'Connor. Still loose in the zone. Aldous keeps it in. Now he gives up to Murphy. Headman's to Houle. Houle's backhander up over the top of the cage and in behind. And now coming out the other way is RPI. Here's Ferguson to center. Sweeps it up to O'Connor. He tries to throw it in front, but it's blocked. And here's Houle turning the other way. Jean-Francois Houle into the zone. His shot stopped by the stick as Mike Tamburo. Rebound goes into the corner. The back-checking Dan Riva flips it out, but not all the way out. Kept in by Clarkson. Behind the net. Houle fanned on the centering pass there. Carried out now by Sight. Thrown in front. Good job by Aldous to stick it away from Kevin Murphy. And now RPI clears. Ferguson gets to the bench, just dumps it in and goes off on a chain. Comes Clarkson the other way to Reuter, to Palmer who dumps it in. Kiley sweeps it around the boards for the Engineers. It comes all the way out. Gates has to play it for Clarkson. St. Hilaire tries to keep it in, can't. Back checking to Reuter now controls. He takes a bump from Hilly at the line. Sight carries it to the RPI zone to Steve Palmer. Into the circle, thrown in front, stopped by Tamburo. That might have gotten some pipe behind Tamburo.
I think you're right. I think it got Tamburo and then the pipe.
Loose puck in front, now swept along to the board. Tagnuti throws it back in front. Kiley stops it, but can't control. Down low in front. DeRuiter, backhander wide of the net. Sight plays for Clarkson. Good pressure by the Golden Knights here. Kiley trying to get the face-off, can't. Steve Palmer plays it in the circle. Now he spins, goes to the goal line in the corner. Behind the net, out front, under the glove of Tamburo, and he covers it.
Good job by Mike Tamburo. Just as soon as the puck got near him, he covered it up. Didn't like the pressure he was facing from Clarkson. Right here, you see the save. He gets the pad on it. I don't think it hit pipe. I think it was all pad.
It was all pad. It bounced away. Good job by Mike Tamburo. 17-14 to go in the third.
Everybody doing their job right now for the Engineers. They get a goal, and now Clarkson comes back with a good scoring opportunity. Mike Tamburo comes up big, because if Clarkson had been able to come back and regain that 3-goal lead that quickly, it might have just taken all the wind right out of the Engineers' sails.
RPI controls this draw. Gosselin is on with May and Murphy. Murray and Brownlee on defense. Kept in at the point by O'Lilla, and he drives it back deep into the RPI zone. Pat Brownlee plays it. A couple of players go down in front as Brownlee carries out, uses the boards to bank it into the Clarkson zone. And he ices the puck as he had not yet reached the red line. He stopped at the defenseman's gate there because he was going off on a chain. So the faceoff will go back into the RPI end.
This is one phase where you've mentioned Clarkson has dominated. Faceoffs, particularly in the Engineers zone, have been pretty much dominated by Clarkson all night long.
They did early. Now RPI is, there's only been a couple down here in this period. That last one, Gosselin won. Now it's Brian Richardson against Todd White. White controls this. Another bad drop by the linesman, however. That gets through to Tamburo right between his pads, and we get the whistle.
Yeah, this linesman has made 2 horrible drops in the last few minutes.
It looks to me like he's dropping it 6 inches to the outside of both blades.
You're exactly right. That one, they were facing off right at the face-off dot in the middle of the circle, and he didn't come close to hitting the red spot.
He didn't drop it on the red. He dropped it on the white.
He's backing away as he drops it. I think he's a little timid.
Well, we'll see it again. That one hit the edge of the dot. Shot from the point is blocked by Battaglia. He throws it to the center of the neutral ice. Overskated by Regan, but he corrals it. His shot is blocked by the defense. Now Clarkson turns and comes the other way, through center. Guillaume Best Frenchman from Louviers, France. Now Brian Richardson, cross-ice pass into the skates of Regan. He goes behind the net, takes a hit from Bartel. Battaglia chases, centering pass behind Richardson. Thrown toward the net and caught. Little pop fly, and now we got some jamming to the side of the net. Bartel and Regan, they're both going to go.
Yeah.
As the fists were thrown, even though the gloves never came off.
Regan barking at Frank Cole, the referee. He's unhappy that Josh Bartel was pushing and shoving. Regan retaliated a little bit. Bartel will definitely get a seat. Now they point at Regan. Regan will go. We're going to get...
the RPI
might
penalty
be
box
2 and 2.
isn't opening, but now it does. And,
Frank Cole's pointing at just about everybody on the ice. It's going to be LeCavalier as well, as he's the one that dumped Brian Richardson. Mark Morris is beside himself, but the Engineers will get a power play.
And it's going to be a 4-on-3 power play as Clarkson will lose 2 players, RPI losing 1.
Here we see right there, Richardson's already on the ice, dumped by LeCavalier. Here's Bartel and Regan going at it beside the ice. Regan got a stick in the midsection. That's what made him unhappy.
And then he throws the right hand, and that's what sent him off. 16-12 remaining, third period, 3:48 the time of the penalty. Double minor to Clarkson, one to LeCavalier, the other to Bartel. Tim Regan takes the minor for RPI. So it'll be a 4-on-3 advantage for the Engineers. They'll have some open ice to work with.
And the Engineers will try and set up a power play, a critical point for them now, as they're 0 for 6 on the power play tonight. They've had a few good scoring opportunities, but unable to beat Dan Murphy at all tonight on the power play.
See Mark Morris right down to the sideboards to talk to his penalty killers.
Yeah, he was also talking to referee Frank Cole about that call.
And here comes Dan Frigid to the gate.
I don't know what the delay is here. We need to get some players on the ice to get the game going. Mark Morris is holding his team out, trying to get the official to skate over so he can bark at him a little more about the call.
And Frigid now, RPI coach Dan Frigid is...
I'm confused too, because Clarkson has 6 people on the ice. Clarkson has 6 people on the ice and 2 on the bench.
Well, neither of those,
And
none
penalty
of the
box.
penalty time isn't up on the board.
Double minor maybe to Regan. Yeah.
And Regan got 4 minutes, so that's why they're washed out. So I beg your pardon, it's a double minor to Tim Regan to go with the 2 minors given to the 2 Clarkson players, LeCavalier and Bartel. So there will be no man advantage for RPI. Just coincidental minors, 4 minutes to each team. St. Hilaire.
No harm, no foul, Jim, I guess.
Here's Garver along the goal line, in behind the net. Healy went down in front, but he's back up. St. Hilaire centers. Murphy intercepted the pass, though, and knocked it to the sideboard. Another RPI player, St. Hilaire, goes down. Here's Garver in front of the net. Now the puck into the corner. O'Lilla plays it around Healy. Cross ice to Windsor, but he couldn't control it. Has to go back now. RPI with a strong forecheck here. Clarkson having trouble getting out of the zone. Puck bounces out, now driven right back in by the Engineers. Clarkson throws it out now all the way down. This will be an icing call. And the face-off comes back down into the circle to the left of Clarkson goaltender Dan Murphy. 15:27 left, third period. 3-1 Clarkson.
And the Engineers will take that. They'll take the face-off down in front of Murphy, get a chance to set up a play, hopefully win the draw. Riva will take the draw, probably against Lopata for Clarkson.
O'Connor on Riva's right, Ferguson on his left. Riva wins the draw to O'Connor. His shot, pad saved by Murphy. Rebound in front. Ferguson fires it wide of the net. Riva controls. His backhanded pass goes behind the net. O'Connor bumps with Gates. Puck loose in the corner. Jean-Francois Houle plays it for the Golden Knights. Gates around Ferguson. Takes a hit, but still stick handles. Now he's dumped. And the puck rolls behind the Clarkson goal. Gates plays it. O'Connor goes down in front of Murphy. Puck comes to center. Houle sweeps it around Alder. Kevin Murphy picks it up. His shot toward the net. Stop and score! It got through Canberra. He made the original stop but couldn't control it.
He made the original stop, and a stick just managed to get on the goal, or on the puck, and just poke it between the pads. And that's a tough break for the Engineers as they have been outplaying Clarkson here in the first 5 minutes of this third period. Here we're going to see the replay as Houle just sticks it in front. It's deflected. It bounces off both pads of Mike Tamburo. I think it's Lopata that was able to just get the tip of his stick on it and poke it in.
Take a look at it again. There's the
See that off the knee and in.
hit him off the knee.
Lopata, his first goal, third point of the night.
Came at 5:08, third period. Kevin Murphy, the Glens Falls native, and the captain of this Clarkson team, gets the assist on that. So that could be the backbreaker for the Engineers as they trail now again by 3 with just under 15 to go. This is where the heart has to come in on a team, though, to keep skating hard. Mark Murphy's drive, kicked aside by Dan Murphy. Behind the net, Windsor. Left wing pass, Uhl, out to center ice off the skate. Seitz trailing the play, now carries to the RPI line. To Wallace. He goes deep. Backhand sweep in front. Here's Seitz. He couldn't get there. Now he does. Tries to get the shot off. It's blocked. Kicks it in front. Loose puck is knocked aside and skated out of the zone by RPI. Mark Murphy gets it ahead. Chris May comes into the zone with it. Wallace all over him. May to the goal line. Walks in. Up in front. Bouncing puck. Grabbed out of the air by Dan Murphy.
There's a little bit of the heart that you talked about. That fourth line for the Engineers, creating a scoring opportunity. Puck bounced into the air in the crease. Murphy able to pull it out of the air. But the Engineers had 2 players standing on the doorstep waiting for the rebound. And they will get a face-off in the Clarkson zone. They'll send out their big guns. Richardson, Garver out there along with Battaglia. Aldis and Perong on the points. And the Engineers will look to win the draw and generate another shot.
Let's see who steps in to take the draw for Clarkson. It looks like it'll be Buddy Wallace.
Sounds like he ought to be a race car driver.
He does. Richardson wins that ever so briefly. O'Lilla skates off the loose puck and sets up behind his goal. Fans on his pass, though. Garver almost took it away. Sent to center. Aldis turns it back the other way. Garver carries it in, but Battaglia had not yet cleared the zone. RPI offside. The faceoff comes just outside the line. 13:47 left. RPI, of course, after tonight, goes on the road for the next 2 weekends, going to UVM next Friday night, Dartmouth on Saturday, and the following week they make the Colgate-Cornell trip.
And those are 2 tough road trips. The Engineers, of course, trying to stay ahead of Dartmouth in the race for the final few playoff spots. The Engineers right now sitting at 8th.
Dartmouth, by the way, getting beat tonight. Last time we heard, we'll get to that score in a second. Located. That play offside again, and they'll bring the face-off just outside the line once again. Dartmouth was down at the end of 2, weren't they, tonight?
They were losing 4-1 to Colgate. Brown beating Yale, another Yale team that defeated Harvard last night. Just about 5 points behind the Engineers, so the Engineers like that. Vermont 2-1 over Cornell at the end of 2, and St. Lawrence and Union tied at 3 early in the third period in Schenectady.
RPI wins that draw, driven in onto the stick of Richardson. His shot is deflected up over the band and off the curtain on the back wall. So the faceoff will be at the top of the circle to the right of Clarkson goaltender Dan Murphy. Murphy, as we mentioned at the outset, is a sophomore. He has started every game of his collegiate career.
Already with 37 career victories.
This is 63rd consecutive start in the NCAA, and barring injury, will likely go 4 years, run the table. Unless they find somebody better, and be hard-pressed to find one based on tonight. He's looked tough. O'Lilla controls off this draw. He's the good freshman defenseman from Finland. He's been rather quiet tonight. Gets it ahead to Rusty Wallace, speaking of race car drivers, Buddy Wallace, as he battles with Chris Aldis, and they get the sticks up, and they're both going to go.
Yeah, I think
that was a mano-a-mano all the way down the zone as they back skated into the corner, and the sticks gradually came up. And let's see if they both go. Wallace is headed off.
Yeah, I think Aldis is going to have to go as he starts to skate out of the corner now.
Yeah, both.
They'll come at 6:46 of this third period.
So again, these are matching minors.
Engineers have, I think, Jim, played fairly well tonight.
Now Tim Regan, we're looking down below. Tim Regan is still in the penalty box. The two Clarkson players who went in are out. I wonder if Regan got a misconduct on top of that?
Possibility. We did not hear that announcement.
Did not hear the announcement, but Regan is still in the penalty box, and the two guys he went off with are both out. Off the draw, Pagnuti can't play it, and RPI comes the other way. O'Connor, his shot is whistled as it gets in, and we get a little pushing and shoving in the creases. Roshan got tangled up with Gates in the goal crease, and they're both going to go.
They're both going, and I think Clarkson talked Patrick Roshan into the box there as he was manhandled in the crease by Gates, who will get a 2-minute minor, but I think Patrick Roshan is also going to be waved to the box.
Originally, the play was offside. O'Connor's shot toward the goal was
Roshan
blocked.
skated in, and as he dropped the puck at the blue line, he put himself offside.
The Gates and Roshan go off. We'll get another look at it here. There's Gates moving Roshan out. 6:54, the time of these penalties.
Dan Fridgen, not real happy with that call. Wants to know exactly what Patrick Roshan did. Engineers, of course, their fans and the administration here still unhappy over what they thought was a pretty bad officiating job last night in the game with St. Lawrence, where St. Lawrence, or the Engineers rather, were assessed 6 of the final 7 penalties last night. So they're ripe to be upset with the Zebras.
Teams are 4 aside for 1:52. Clarkson wins that draw. Pagnuti at center ice holds up. And they're going to reset as they start their way down the ice. A dump in, Clark chases, but that's a icing call as Cavalier dumped it in from the side of the red line. 12:50 to go, third period. 4-1 Clarkson, and the faceoff coming back into their end.
A lot of good college hockey, going to take place in New York State this postseason, Jim. As you know, the ECAC championships in Lake Placid, and then the NCAA regionals will make a return to the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany. So New York State becoming a real focus for college hockey. The Engineers, of course, the host for the NCAA regional tournament.
And hopefully those tournaments will be well supported, especially the one at the Nick, because RPI obviously isn't going to be there this year. But you'd like to see someday that tournament come back here when the Engineers are here.
That's a good point. You're right.
Off the draw, loose in front. Healy tried to sweep it in, but fanned on it. Maidmont skates it through center for Clarkson. To the line, goes around Brownlee. Tries to flip it toward the goal. It's batted up in the air and into the corner. LeCavalier pinching deep. Now he's got a top of the circle, wrist shot stopped by Tamburo. Here comes St. Hilaire through center. Healy ahead of him. They come in 2-on-2. St. Hilaire, weak shot toward goal. Murphy sticks it to the backboard. Maidmont plays it for Clarkson. Team skating 4 aside for another 57 seconds. Almost the intercept by Healy. Now he's got it, coming in with Richardson. Pass just too far ahead for him. He couldn't get the shot off. Now he centers to Healy. Tries to tee up with the backhand. He goes down.
Good no call as Healy took a dive, and Frank Call had a good look at it.
That was a good no call. Healy grabbed the Cavalier's stick and pulled himself down. Zeruder dumps it in and goes off on a change. Mark Murphy back for RPI. 11:41 to go in the third. Engineers are down 3. Richardson to Perron. A lot of open ice as he skates into the zone. Fakes the shot. Loses control. Has it knocked to center. Kiley back to play it. Murphy sends Perron to the line. Holds up. Wrist shot. Gloved by Dan Murphy, and he held on. That would have been wide. Dan Murphy gloved it. 4 seconds remaining in the penalties to Aldos and Wallace that have put the two clubs 4 aside. So they'll be out in those 4 seconds, and then it'll be back to 5-on-5, while the other players still in the box continue to serve. That would be Roshan and Gates. Tim Regan
Tim
has
Regan is
left the
now
box.
out. Yeah.
And so I assume we'll see him on the ice here. Yeah, he is on the bench. Okay. O'Connor to take the draw against Lapata. Windsor into the corner. Lapata plays it. Here's Windsor. The penalties are over. Teams are 5 aside. 5 skaters aside. Gould carries in. Wallace trailing. Gould goes down. Wallace plays it along the board. Knocked out. Back to the Clarkson line where Bartel. Off the boards through center and all the way down. No icing. Murray for RPI. That does go all the way down. And we get the whistle for the icing call. Face-off coming back into the RPI end. 10.5 to go in the third. Still 4-1 Clarkson.
Gut check time, as you mentioned a little bit ago, for the Engineers now. Clarkson has settled into kind of a lull and will be happy to play strong defense here, not looking to score. So it's a chance for the Engineers to suck it up and try to put some pressure on. When you get a team that kind of turns off the offense at a point in a game like this, if you can turn it up yourself and get a couple of breaks, you pop one in a hurry, all of a sudden you might be able to get the momentum.
St. Hilaire and White on the draw. St. Hilaire jumps the gun. He gets tossed. Eric Healy will come in. Another bad drop by the linesman. Clarkson controls. Good hit by Healy on White, but he continues to play the puck along the boards. Now behind the net, Clark with Aldous all over him. Good strength by Clark though, to Best. Clark gets it back, tries to make a move. He goes down, takes a bump on the head with a stick. Finally RPI controls and comes out. Garver across to St. Hilaire, he overskates, puts himself offside. Gates back to play it for Clarkson. Under 10 minutes to go now in the third. RPI 3 goals down. Gates backhands it on goal. Tamburo stops it. RPI trying to catch Clarkson in a change. Here's Murphy. Shot blocked. Out to center. LeCavalier dumps it ahead. It comes back his way, and now to Roshan. Brownlee. Cross ice. Into the zone. Race for it. Gosselin shields off DeRuiter, but doesn't go after the puck. DeRuiter gets to it. LeCavalier back checking now. Picks it up. May dumped in front of the net. No call. Pass ahead for DeRuiter. Too far. Tamburo comes out to play it. Right onto the stick of Steve Palmer, though, who drives it into the corner. Battles with Roshan. All the way around. And kept it at the point. No, not kept it at the point. Bartel a little late getting there as he was coming off the bench. He had to sprint up to the blue line to try to beat the puck to it. But the puck crossed over, so the face-off comes outside. 9:09 left in the third.
Josh Bartel arguing with referee Frank Cole, but wasn't even close. That was a good 2 feet outside the zone.
The referee was standing there, too, and Bartel skating at full speed. You know, when you're going, your eyes are bopping up and down a little bit.
That's a good point.
You don't get it focused sometimes. Wallace and Richardson on the draw. Clarkson carries in. Good job by Battaglia there of keeping Grant from busting in with it. He held him up. Here's Wallace, or Bartel rather, back to play it. Batted off the boards and down in. Icing on Clarkson. Not what the Golden Knights want, although a 3-goal lead with about 8:50 to go. They're not certainly in any imminent danger. But you're one stride in your zone, one stride on your side of the red line. To dump it down and ice the puck, that brings the face-off. Well, this face-off's going to be at center ice. I thought that was an icing call.
I did as well.
My point was going to be, you're losing about 65 feet on the draw because it comes all the way back deep into your zone, but that's not going to happen here.
No, they must have decided that it should have been waved off, so it's an inadvertent whistle face off the center ice.
We'll go with that call. Inadvertent whistle. That's flipped up along the bench. This will be an icing. No, now it's waved off as Clarkson can come back and play it before it gets to the goal line. Good hit on by Battaglia. Centering pass to Regan. His shot is up over the net. Brownlee pinches deep. RPI's got to send the defenseman in now. But when they overskate like they did there, Clarkson can come out. Olilla dumps it in. Golden Knights go off on a change. Pass up ahead to Regan at the line. Tries to send in Richardson, but the pass is behind him. Pagnuti drives it out to Burdett Avenue. Or would have gotten there if it hadn't hit the wall.
Yeah, or 2 or 3 people in the West Grandstand. 8:05 left. The Engineers yelling over a spill at center ice by Brian Richardson. They thought that Buddy Wallace should have been called for tripping or interference. The Engineers helping any potential call right now. If they get bumped, they're going to go to the ice. Looking to generate some kind of offense, hoping to get a power play.
Well, the play has slowed down a little bit. I mean, they're still working hard, but they just don't seem to be as quick to the puck as maybe they were earlier, which stands to reason as we're getting late. There's a drive off the shaft of the stick of Mike Tamburo and up into the crowd.
He had to be quick with that. Mike Tamburo has allowed 4 goals tonight, but he's played very well. I think perhaps the only one you can fault him on was the last one that sort of trickled between his pads. But it did change direction at the last moment as Lopata was standing right in front of him and deflected the weak shot.
Lopata against Riva here. Again, the linesman drops the puck and no stick hit it. Finally, it was kicked out, kept in by Gates at the point. He drives it deep, wrapped around the boards. Ferguson throws it to center. Nobody there except Gates for Clarkson. His clearing pass, however, is blocked by a skate. Now Murphy has to dump it out to center. Roshan to the line. His drive stopped by Dan Murphy. Rebound. Ferguson couldn't get it on net. Here's Riva playing it into the corner. He throws it in front behind O'Connor, who tried to one-time it. And Kevin Murphy just throws it in and goes off on a change. Clarkson now with the lead and time running down. 7 minutes now remaining in the third. They get the puck to center ice. They just flip it in and skate off.
That's all they need to do now. Just keep the clock running and not allow Engineers to get any easy, quick goals.
Winter takes a bump from 2 Engineers. Garver and St. Hilaire. White comes in. Now Healy. Healy tried to send Garver in. Here's Garver to the dot. Stick save by Murphy into the corner. Le Cavalier wraps it around the boards, but stopped behind the net by St. Hilaire. Nick Windsor uses glass trying to get it out, but Healy stopped it. Carries it deep, throws it in front, nobody there. Guillaume Best back checking, drives it off the boards, but not out. Aldous holds it in, throws it toward the net, blocked by the defense. Actually, the centerman, Todd White. Icing waved off there. Tamburo has to play the puck. And he throws it all the way up to the Clarkson line. Healy sweeps it in with a little bit of stick. 6:05 left in the third. Engineers 3 goals down. It's 4-1 Clarkson. Steve Palmer. Nice move around Brownlee, but it's swept off the puck. John Perron comes back the other way for RPI. 4-on-2 if they hurry. Gosselin heads for the net. Roshan to Murphy behind the play, but he directed it wide. That's Mark Murphy directing it well wide of Dan Murphy. Dave Seitz for Clarkson. Carries out. Blocked at center and now flipped in. Around the boards, Clarkson changes again. Mark Murphy plays for RPI. Throws to center, behind Chris May. And the Engineers give it up. Several passes behind the players here in the last 5 minutes that have cost RPI a couple of rushes. And we get a whistle at center ice, and Pagnuti dumps Chris May, and RPI will get the power play here.
And after a lot of people have been taken to the ice in this third period, a little bit of a weak call, I think, at that point, but the Engineers will take it. They'll get their last shot. Down 4-1. They'll get their 7th power play opportunity of the evening on an interference call. Coming at 14:45.
RPI, of course, 0 for 6 on the power play tonight. We mentioned early on that in the first meeting up in Potsdam early in the year, RPI 1 for 11 on the power play, so that makes them 1 for 17 against Clarkson this year. Here's Tim Regan. Backhander in front, shot, save! Beautiful shot. Beautiful setup from Regan to Richardson. And Dan Murphy stoned Brian Richardson from about 10 feet out on the right side.
And Murphy's made some good saves tonight, but that was the best.
Kevin Murphy plays cross ice to Buddy Wallace, who just dumped it down. Tamburo stops behind the net. Jeff O'Connor to play it for RPI. 4:38 to go, 1:23 left in the man advantage. Here's Richardson to the line. Puck knocked out. Steve Palmer tries to break ahead of Roshan. Roshan back checking well though, gets to the puck but loses it. DeRuiter coming in. Tries to walk. Well, he was going to go in front, went behind the net instead and into the corner where he takes a hit from O'Connor. DeRuiter gets the puck back, however. Trying to get the freeze, but it's poked loose, and here comes Brian Richardson. 50 seconds to go in the man advantage. Richardson coming down, 2 on 3. And now Healy breaking in late. Centering pass. Regan couldn't tee it up. Clarkson plays it. Bartel carries out, uses glass to bump it to center. And all the way down. Half a minute to go in the man advantage. 3:45 left, third period. 4-1 Clarkson. St. Hilaire sends in Garver, too far ahead of him. Grant beats Garver to the puck. Takes a hit from Garver, tries to center, but his pass is blocked. Brownlee pinches deep. He's overrun. Kept in at the line by St. Hilaire. Throws it toward the net, but it's blocked by the defense. Bartel blocked out, and Garver gets it back. Shot off the top of Murphy's catching glove and over the net. Aldous, left point. Throws it deep in the corner to Garver. St. Hilaire. Back out right point. Off Brownlee's skate, he takes a hit. Grant picks up the loose puck, and he'll clear it all the way down. Penalty has expired. That's an icing on RPI, or rather on Clarkson.
And the Engineers go 0 for 7 on the power play this evening. And as you mentioned, 1 for 18 now against Clarkson on the year. That's just indicative of the strong defensive play of the Clarkson Golden Knights all year long. See if Brian Cadman, the linesman, has taken a course in remedial puck dropping.
You know, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody miss the dot as many times as I've seen a linesman miss the dot on the drop tonight. We're going to see another look at the best shot, the best opportunity on that last RPI power play. This is Tim Regan carrying a nice backhand, feathered pass, and Regan, Richardson, I beg your pardon, stoned by Dan Murphy. Murray keeps it in, takes a hit. He waited too long to drive that one toward the net. Time running down, you just got to throw it on net. Here comes Uhl and Lapata, 2-on-1. Uhl falls down, kicks it in toward Tamburo, who covers up.
Getting a little sloppy now, Jim. As you're right, Murray waited too long at the point. Indecision by the freshman, and he lost the puck. And then as Jean-Francois Uhl tried to make a play, down near Mike Tamburo, he just lost an edge and went to the ice. Mike Tamburo gets up, pats Uhl on the head. Says, nice game, buddy. This
down here
pretty much over.
George Murray was just inside the blue line, and he had the puck standing still at his blade, waiting and looking. He was looking to make a play, and he took the hit before he ever got his stick on the puck. And clearly at this point in the game, you want to throw it in either deep into the corner or toward the net and hope something happens.
Yeah, you want to get it near the net, you're right, and hope that you get a lucky bounce and can get a quick one here and pull your goaltender and try to get back in the game.
Well, it's been a game of chances. Clarkson has converted theirs, and RPI hasn't converted theirs, with the exception of the one Patrick Roshan goal in the opening seconds of this third period. Gates keeps it in. DeRuiter in the corner. 2:20 left now in the third. Clarkson with the 4-1 lead. Brian Richardson wraps it around the board. Regan tries to get it out and finally does, but Clarkson controls. The legs have slowed here in the final minutes.
Well, it happens when you realize that it's you're going to lose, Jim, in the last couple of minutes. It's hard to
Well, Clarkson really has been able to almost drop the tempo Just by the way they've been able to dump it in and go off on their changes. They're not looking to get down ice in a hurry. They're just looking to get the puck out of their zone. And it's almost as if they have intentionally slowed their pace, and RPI slowed down with them.
I think you're exactly right. The Engineers just don't quite have the firepower to be able to overpower this Clarkson team. This is one of the better teams in the East.
Final minute and a half here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Here's Wallace, in alone, shot saved by Tamburo. He's still 100% into the game.
Mike Tamburo plays 60 minutes no matter what the score.
Healy now moves around O'Lilla, throws it in front, tipped wide by Garver. Matt Garver, as we've said tonight, has really skated well, in our opinion. He's made a couple of things happen. Final minute now, Roshan with a backhander, wide of the net. Mikko O'Lilla, the freshman defenseman from Finland, dumps it to center, and the chase is on. Roshan bats it out, not all the way out, now he gets it out. But Windsor just redirects it the other way. So RPI, after getting no points last week on the Harvard-Brown trip, is going to get 1 point on this homestand this weekend. It was a tough road to climb, or a tough hill to climb coming in. But after you get one, you want to get one the second night at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Final seconds now as the clock winds down. And you see it come to an end here at the Houston Fieldhouse. The Golden Knights of Clarkson with another great job in net by their sophomore Dan Murphy. Defeat RPI by the score of 4-1. Mike Tamburo played well in the Engineer net. We characterized the goals. The first one was through a screen. The second one was a great individual effort by Todd White. The third one was a defensive breakdown. The fourth one, Tamburo was unable to control a shot that he should have stopped. It hit him in the knee. It bounced through the 5-hole and into the net.
And I think that's one of those shots that you sort of misplay because it changes direction, just like a change of pace. Take a look at the Engineers goal. 6 seconds into the third period, Richardson wins the faceoff. Roshan just steps over the blue line and snaps off a quick wrister that fooled Dan Murphy. Got there more quickly than he expected.
And the two defensemen, Gates and Pagnuti, if you notice, they were both backpedaling. They were letting the forward play Roshan, but Roshan had beaten the forward as he used Brian Richardson for the screen right off the faceoff. And just a good hard wrist shot that beat Dan Murphy, who was unsuspecting, I think, because clearly off his play tonight, normally a shot 55, 60 feet away. He stopped it no problem. So that will do it from up here. 4-1 the final. The Engineers get 1 point on the weekend, having tied Clarkson last night, or tied St. Lawrence last night, I beg your pardon. And the Clarkson Golden Knights have now won 4 in a row. Final score, Clarkson 4, RPI 1. Go back downstairs now to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim and Al. Terrific job. Final, Clarkson wins the game, but the season is a long way from over. And as Jim Brennan told you at the top of the broadcast, RPI is on the bubble looking for a playoff spot. There is every reason to believe we will get into the playoffs, and then anything can happen, as it did last year when they won the ACAC. In fact, if you would like a nice, easy way to follow the team the rest of the season, see what the playoff picture becomes and how we do, we have just the thing for you. We are, of course, on the World Wide Web, and here's information about where you can find us.
We all hear the word cyberspace, but where is it? Well, it seems a little piece of it may be right here in this dorm room, in the quad at Rensselaer. Among the usual college student clutter, Eric Metzger, a sophomore, has designed the fastest way for alumni, students, and friends of Rensselaer to get the latest information on team athletics, the World Wide Web.
Take a look at this year's current team. Take a look at the players. Click on John Perron. Basically, the hockey page, it's an online version of the media guide. This is a schedule. And you see the games that we played already are in blue as links. And if you click on it, you get the box score. This There's a Rensselaer Athletics homepage. It's something I started working on over the summer after I made the hockey page. And you could check out our other varsity sports, Division III sports. There's even the Let's Go Red catalog where you could order merchandise like RPI hockey jerseys.
But say you want more recaps, discussion with other alumni, and what teams or players are hot, then you may want to subscribe to the list server.
Alumni could basically sign on to an electronic mailing list and get information about the team sent to them by email automatically. That would include box scores, game recaps, and then people could just write in and just have a discussion about the team, the current year team or years past. So the listserv is something that's really new. It's pretty much exciting because I'm making contact with a lot of new alumni, and they're communicating with each other about the team. It's like an open forum where people could just share their comments about the hockey team. And as of right now, there are 300 people signed on to the listserv, about 70 of which are alumni.
If you want to browse the website, the address is http://www.rpi.edu/dept/athletics. Now, to subscribe to the list, send an email message to listserver@vm.its.rpi.edu.
I have my doubts about that last dot in that last address. I suspect it's just edu, but try it both ways. You can't go very far wrong. That's it from the field house. I was kind of hoping that Jim Brennan and Al Shibley would be able to get down here to join me to give you a brief recap and some final impressions on the game. Again, the final score, Clarkson 4, RPI 1. Clarkson comes down, gets 4 points this weekend. They beat Union last night over in Schenectady. St. Lawrence tied RPI here last night. St. Lawrence came in leading the league, and apparently they have defeated Union tonight. So St. Lawrence leads with 3. RPI at this moment still in 8th place in the ECAC. That is a playoff spot